Good evening, everybody. We are the crew. We are back with Kicking with the Crew. Everybody is here tonight. We got a full house for the last mock draft of this offseason with the draft coming up next week. Hope
Let's
everybody's
go.
excited. How's everybody
What's
doing
up,
tonight?
everybody?
Doing good.
Got a bottle of soju
Ready to go.
halfway done, so I'm halfway good.
Oh, goodness. Don't turn into me like last week, all right?
You
I don't know about
gotta
y'all,
take
but
a lot of alcohol for that.
Yeah.
it feels like this draft process has flown by. Usually I feel like we're waiting, but I feel like this year, dude, it's come by
At
pretty
least, yeah, it snuck up on
quick.
us. I mean, we've
Yeah,
had
it
plenty
did.
of time to fill going over the same couple quarterbacks, the same couple prospects, so it
I
has
think you
flown
guys
by a
have
little
missed a
bit.
few too many episodes. Then
Yeah.
it feels like it's been slow and taking forever for me.
Yeah, it's thanks to DeMarco that it flew by because he's steady pumping out the content for us.
Hey, man, I try.
Shout out Chad, Ashley, welcome, as always.
Chad's always the first one in here. That man put a comment on YouTube about 15 minutes ago. Ready to go, man.
Chad, we appreciate you, man. You're always like you have a standing appointment here, and I love it.
That's
Chad is my
facts.
dog. He stay on top of it.
Facts. Man, I hope that other guy comes in here tonight.
So real quick,
Doubt it.
I don't know if you guys have all seen. I mean, obviously, I'm guessing that we all seen Chris Ballard's presser, right?
Which
And,
one? He did like 5 this week.
Yeah,
He said the
I know
same
he
bullshit
did the one
each
with
time.
JJ Stankovitz and Matt Taylor on the Close podcast. I said that to you guys. And then I'm talking about the one that was yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
And then Shane Steichen was on the Pat McAfee show. What were you guys' thoughts on their comments in those pressers?
My first thought with Shane on the Pat McAfee show is that I actually like the fact that he was on the Pat McAfee show.
yeah.
Mhm.
That was my first thought about that. Was just because I don't think I'd ever seen Frank actually go on the Pat McAfee show. I just think it kind of shows that Shane is a little more loose, a little more laid back than Frank was. So that
I
I
agree
mean,
with that.
even just not listening to Shane, just knowing that he was on that show.
I don't think
You know what?
I don't think Reich had the vocabulary to be on Pat show.
He
Right,
can only
which-
say
which
1%
again-
better so many times, right?
Right.
Yeah. But what I'll say is like I kind of think that the Colts in general, they employ like their leadership to keep everything really close to the vest. Like Steichen gave very Ballard-like answers on Pat McAfee, like very professional. Like you could tell the guys had like a lot of training, like public speaking. And you saw that with Frank too. So being honest with you, it kind of got annoying after a little bit. Like it was a little hard at points because we all want to ask everybody the exact same questions and we know we're going to get out of everybody. Not that it's going to be any different anywhere else, but especially the Ballard side of things, I was just like, can we just get to the draft? Goodness gracious.
I do.
Right, and
I do.
we
yeah,
know
right.
this time of year. My bad. We know this time of year. Like every GM, every coach, they're playing things very close to the vest. They're trying not to release any information. So I can understand that, and I do appreciate the professionalism from our guys. But it was cool to see Shane on Pat McAfee's show, just because like Pat's show has become such a local thing. Like it's probably the biggest media thing going on in at least Indy, if not the whole Midwest, right? So it was cool to see him go on there and get a little bit of a feel for him.
I want to make a take and say that I think we learned more from the with the next pick episode than we did
from their
watching
pressers.
any-
Yes.
than we did from their pressers.
I will agree with that.
Because there were a few things that I noticed when they were talking, and I enjoy the with the next pick. I enjoy that. That this is one of my favorite times of the year. I love closer to the draft, not necessarily as a fan waiting, but I like to see the process. I like to see what they go through, and like there were a few things that caught my eye just from that episode. One, there was a quarterback that they really did not like. There's a top quarterback that they really did not like.
Where did you get that vibe?
I heard that too.
I got the vibe when they said he looked his what was it, his charisma, or he looked like he was moving nonchalant onto the field.
I don't think that was him.
His
I think that was the Carter. I think that was the Carter workout.
I think that was the Carter workout
Okay.
too, because they were like, they said he doesn't look like he's going to be here today.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that didn't matter to him, is what they said. And I thought back just like you did, Matt, immediately to the quarterbacks, and because I've watched
Instantly thought Will Levis because that was my thoughts on Levis.
You think so?
none of them looked like that. I felt like all of them had somewhat type of composure. So I really think it had to have been.
I thought Will Levis at the combine because this is when they were at the combine when they were saying these things.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know what? You're right. Yeah, because they were in the stadium.
That's why I thought because they all were there.
Yo,
when
what's
they were
up,
going to
Jordan?
pro days,
Yeah.
When they were going to pro days, it was they went to their specific areas.
Right.
You know, Morocco was down in Florida. Old boy was up in Ohio. He also went to Kentucky. You know, so at the pro day, it was all of them. They all were sitting there together. And they said, you know, they didn't like the way he was walking on the field. He didn't look like he had a sense of urgency. And that's what I think I came on when I said I watched Will Levis at the combine. And that's what I said about Will Levis. I was like, this guy just doesn't have any oomph to him today, like that day specifically.
Yeah, I think Richardson was who they were talking about a lot in there, like in a good way. In a good way, I felt like all the points they were making were about Anthony Richardson, dude. That was my all the that dude's moving. That dude got that ball out hot. I was like, they have to be talking about Richardson, in my opinion.
Now, the other thing I took from that episode was they were clearly looking at a running back.
That is interesting.
It's the kid from Kentucky.
They were looking at somebody from a running back, and because they were like the way he was able to move without with everyone knowing he was getting the ball.
Well, yeah, I think that was about Damon's guy Jamar Gibbs.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that statement doesn't make me believe it's Rodriguez because that wasn't really.
No, I personally think it was Gibbs because Gibbs is one of those guys where if you go back and you watch Alabama's tape and their offense, you can kind of tell from their offense when they're going to pass and when they're going to run. And when Alabama played a lot of times, they would run the ball with Jamar Gibbs and you still couldn't stop it. You know he's getting the ball and you still couldn't stop it. Tell me if I'm wrong, Zach. I know you've watched a lot of tape there, but it was just one of those things where you watch this guy and you know he's going to get the ball. And you're still
my concern with Gibbs is he doesn't run between the tackles because he's little. And also, usually when he was on the field, Alabama passed it to him. Like he was getting it either quick out on the sidelines or out in the route. And then also he was out there on pass protection. And Jamar Gibbs, is it Gibbs or Gibbs? Gibbs with a G, yeah. Yeah, the dude, he can't pass block. He has terrible technique. So, like, in my opinion, if he is the back they want, he's Nyheim Hines.
Yeah,
and
man,
I worry that.
Go ahead. Finish up.
I just worry that if you go and get a back like that, I don't want to waste high draft capital on a running back. Brother, a dime a dozen. Like, you can get one undrafted. Besides,
I think what you're saying is totally fair about his size-wise and how he runs, but the thing that I would say is we've already had Hines, and we know what he can do for one. For two, look at the running backs that Steichen just worked with in Philly. They're all small, and none of them can really pass block, so this is something that they're very familiar with already.
My biggest gripe with Hines was he was underutilized. Frank didn't use him enough.
Or utilized incorrectly.
Right. So if you're going to go get another back like Nyheim Hines, he is essentially a feature back. You're going to run a two-back system in today's NFL. Three receivers, two receivers, a tight end, and two backs. Because what JT offers you and being able to hit the home run threat in between the tackles, really being a three-down back, a guy like Gibbs offers you in the passing game, in the option game, in the quick game, essentially. And my whole thing is if you're going to draft a running back high, he essentially either becomes the feature back or you use him in the slot out wide. He's a major cog in the offense. And personally, I think it's a luxury pick. Like Trev said in our group chat earlier, drafting a running back to me this year, luxury pick. We're loaded. Moss, Jackson, JT. We don't need another running back.
Right.
I agree, Jordan.
David and I had this conversation. David and I had this conversation earlier, and I'll let you answer this too, David. But I kind of share the same opinion that it's a luxury pick at 35, just because we have massive holes at CB, right? And this is, in my opinion, it's a cornerback deep draft. Like there's a lot of good cornerbacks available where you can get maybe a top guy, starting guy day one at 35. That's kind of my argument against it. Also, I like a couple of these guards that will be available there. So my whole thing is just I'm totally down to get a running back that can fill out that Hines role because I'm not sure if Dion or Moss are capable of doing the same things that Hines did, at least in the passing game. But I don't want to spend 35 to pick on that. But I know Jamin had a counterpoint to that as well.
I just hate missing out on star talent like that. And I think a lot of it depends situationally what we look at 35, like who's on the board. But I kind of date back a couple years ago whenever we thought that we were just fine at running back with Marlon Mack, JT, Nyheim Hines. And midway through the season, we were like, ooh, okay, we're starting to get a little thin here because I think JT got banged up that year, right? Early in the season. He came back late in the season, like end up obviously taking off. And that's whenever we kind of realized he was like our superstar. Marlon Mack blew his ACL out, and then Nyheim Hines was a little bit banged up too. It's just so easy. This like in today's league, I feel like you go through backs and not getting too much into our position group. I'm not going to completely say that our B and C back are like, going to bail us out of jail or nothing like that. But I just think if a guy like Gibbs is available, that explosive, a superstar player in college is available at 35, and we're able to find someone, maybe quality corner after that, I go him. BPA.
I will say this. When it comes to running back, I do think if JT goes down, Zach and Moss together, or Moss and Deion Jackson together, they'll hold it together because they did last year. Our running game didn't really come too far off course. I mean, it wasn't JT flashy, explosive,
but it was all right.
Still productive,
but it was good.
Still productive.
Absolutely
right.
And that's why I had what just like me and Zach were talking about with Damon and Matt's, you guys' mock drafts that you guys that did. That was the main concern for me and Zach when we would say, like, Matt, you had Dalton Kincaid, the tight end. We loved the tight end, but we're like, damn, guard
a luxury pick.
really good.
It's a luxury pick.
Right. Same thing with Damon. Like I said, I thought your draft was fucking killer. Like I thought it was a really good draft, and I just thought Jamar Gibbs at that pick was just like a kind of like this is just adding to your weapons, almost like if you got a loaded offense and you just throw one more in there just because
it's Philadelphia,
And so Jordan's got my back, right? Jordan's got my back.
Yeah, so it's like it's just like no. I mean, I think you guys really made good points making those picks because just like Ballard said in his presser, I know he didn't give full answers to stuff, but like he said, hey, we may have needs, but if there's a guy there that's an elite talent that
you can't pass
the best player there, you can't just pass him up because it's not like you're gonna find either him or another talented guy later on. So both of you guys making those picks, like I said, I wouldn't be mad at having those guys. My only thing would be like, damn, could have got a cornerback there, or boom, could have got a guard there. But I truly wouldn't be mad at those picks being made there. In my opinion, I wouldn't.
I'm with you.
I'm with that too, man.
I'm with you 100%. It was just a moment of the draft. Kincaid was one of the guys I did do a scout on. I did watch. I did study up on. Not because we necessarily needed tight ends. I kind of just liked his name, and I was like, you know what?
You actually think he's the best tight end in the draft?
No, he's the second. I think he's the second or third best tight end in the draft.
Because I got that kid from Notre Dame.
Yeah, Michael Mayer is far and away the best tight end in the draft, but he's going to go.
That kid from Notre Dame's a stud.
I don't know.
But you got Dalton Kincaid out there going for 200
I don't know. I think
a game.
I think it really could be 3 tight ends that are really that elite, and that's dude from Georgia, Dalton Kincaid,
Darnell Washington.
No, not Darnell. The guy that started over him.
Oh, he didn't come out.
Bowers, yeah.
Bowers is nasty.
I think
he's not in this draft.
I think Bowers is the most complete of all 3 of those tight ends. He may not be the elite receiver, but I think he's the most complete. He can pass block. He can go get the ball.
He's Kittle.
So exactly. So I think Ballard said that too. He said this is a really deep tight end draft. So I don't know if we'll end up picking tight end, but it'd be tough for me to sit there and rank all 3 of those guys when it depends on your team, the way you're going to look. And the fact that we haven't seen Steichen's offense with us yet, we don't know who's going to be featured, what this offense is going to look like, how run priority oriented we're going to be or pass. So it's just like pick your poison on which one you want. And Jordan makes a great comment here. He says Kincaid equals Kelsey. And I think right there, if you're going to be a passing offense, get your guy. Like it's pretty much who do you prefer?
Right.
Like
who fits your scheme too?
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's all schematic at this point.
Exactly.
So
Can I
once we
Jordan
take
question?
once we take the number 4 pick, if it's quarterback, right? Because like we said before, all 4 quarterbacks are a different archetype. So if we take whichever quarterback we take,
Would
gives
dictate our
Shane
timing.
dictates the rest of the draft. Shane and Chris are going to be on the phone that night, and they're going to be talking about, okay, well now this is how we're going to move forward because this is now what my scheme is going to be like.
Absolutely, and that's why he said the cement's not dry. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So whoever's putting out all these rumors, nobody knows how the draft is going to go, except for the Carolina Panthers. They are the only team that dictates what will happen after number 1.
Right, Zach, go ahead.
Can I answer Jordan Kimmy's question? I can't stand Jalen Hyatt. Here's why. Hard eval. For me, it's not he's a bad receiver, but I want to know how he's deep threat when he runs a 4.5. That's not deep threat speed. But it's the scheme he's in. He plays in super wide splits, and every route he runs is like a slant or a choice route. So
my bad. Sorry.
So while it's for me, it's a very hard eval because when you draft a guy like Hyatt, he's immensely talented. But how much of his talent is because of the scheme he's in that essentially that offense that is so unique to Tennessee and Baylor and Art Briles and Heupel
and Hendon Hooker's arm.
Right. And Hendon Hooker, who honestly I believe is the best natural thrower of the football in the draft.
See, I don't
100%. 100%.
So
agreed.
To me, to sit here and say Jalen Hyatt is a guy, if we got him at 35, I would be pissed. To answer your question, yes. I'm pissed because
in my opinion
I don't think he's the best receiver at all.
No.
Yeah, I was named. Me personally, I don't care about none of those receivers, man. I love this guy, Tank Dell. I think you get the most. I think he's absolutely explosive. Him or Zay Flowers, man. I think the way those guys run. I mean, in my opinion, if you take a guy like Johnson out of TCU or you take Hyatt, we're just pretty much adding another Alec Pierce or Michael Pittman. Guys, I mean, like it's just a big body receiver who has some speed. They're not shifty guys that you can put it to. I do like that we added Isaiah McKenzie, but I think either one of those guys, Tank Dell or Zay Flowers, if we can get one of those guys, that would be my preference because those guys I feel like can be more explosive out of the slot, give us some of that I don't know if any of you guys remember Trent Sherfield in Miami. He wasn't their number 1, but he was a guy that can play in the middle, play that slot, get open. He has some speed to take it the distance. I think that's more what our offense need, regardless of quarterback that we get, because I feel like we already have the big body, deep threat receivers, regardless of Pittman's speed or not. He can still go high, point the ball, and get over some guys. And then Alec Pierce obviously has that speed, the same type of speed as Jonathan Taylor that we done seen him burn past plenty of people. I don't really see Hyatt as a
Indianapolis gets Zay Flowers. He, in my opinion, is the true X receiver they miss and need. And you essentially make Pittman Jr. wide receiver 2, and you make Pierce wide receiver 3. Because in my opinion, Zay Flowers is arguably the best receiver in this draft class.
I'll take a hot take. I'll take a hot take on that. I don't think Pierce goes to wide receiver 3.
Yeah,
because if you look at it across the board, all right, so let's step away from the numbers, right? Because everybody wants to put a number on it. When it comes to 1, 2, and 3, it's typically a letter. It's XYZ, right? Yeah, if you're going XYZ, if you take Zay Flowers, it's going to be Zay is X, Michael Pittman Jr. becomes Y. You're going to keep Pierce on the outside. He's going to be your Z.
So you think
I think Pierce stays on the outside.
I think regardless of whether you number it, I think Alec Pierce would be number 2 if you're going to number it that way. And I think he'd be our Y if you do it the other way. So.
If you do, who, Pierce? Be Y?
Yeah.
You think Pierce is going to go to the inside, to the slot?
Yeah.
I don't.
He's fat.
I think
he's a fast player.
Too big.
No. I think he's taller, and you need him on the. He's taller. He's bigger. He's stronger.
Yeah, I prefer him on the outside.
I prefer him on the outside.
Too.
MPJ is a better route runner. You need him.
I
love
Pittman in the middle of the field, man.
Yes.
So my thing with him is the reason I would say the inside. I mean, inside or out, however you want to do it. I just don't want to limit him to the outside. I think he can. I think his development should be better to where he can do whatever you want.
But his development's going to be better on the outside. His development being on the outside is going to be better for the Colts as a whole, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that.
And MPJ would be beneficial in that slot.
Yeah.
That Y If we took Zay Flowers, it's all hypothetical, but that would be me. That would be my with the idea that they're going to rotate, right? You're not going to keep MPJ in the spot all game long,
right?
It's all going to be a
and
rotation.
they're all capable of doing it all,
right?
Exactly.
Right. With McKenzie too. With McKenzie too, because when you run that 4 wide receiver, the 4 receiver package, you're gonna have McKenzie.
Yeah, but
bro, could you imagine a 4 receiver set with the Isaiah McKenzie and a Zay Flowers or a Tank Dell on the inside?
Can you imagine a bunch? Hold on. Can you imagine a bunch set with Pierce, Michael Pittman Jr., and like Zay Flowers all in one bunch, and then McKenzie on the other side?
Oh, that'd be elite.
Or McKenzie in the bunch and then Pierce.
It'd be impossible to not find somebody open. It'd be impossible.
I need Jelani Woods.
You just need the guy to throw it.
You put Woods out there and you put McKenzie in the backfield.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, you can do what's the name? I do trips on the right and let Jelani on the outside by himself.
Yeah. He'd be
He's big enough, man.
He did that
and then shift him to the inside of the hash.
He lined up like 4 or 5 times as an X receiver in that Dallas game.
I mean,
hey, we got a Bills fan. We got a Bills fan in here. Let's give him some
What's
love.
up, Joey?
Coming in here watching a Colts show, man. Appreciate you coming out. He says that Flowers struggled against Hot Sauce Johnson. 2 games with no catches, 1 run for -2 yards.
That stuff to me don't matter because
good corner.
That's just like we can sit here and say that
oh, look at this.
What's my boy
look what he says though. Hello.
Darrell Revis locked up Reggie Wayne. Are we doubting Reggie Wayne? Like, no.
He said Tank Dell's 3 games against Hot Sauce Gardner, 87 yards the first game, 137 the second game, and 186.
Hey, Dell's legit, man.
Tank Dell's legit.
I'm telling you, bro. I've been watching more and more of this guy's film, his route running, his ability to shift and move and get out of his breaks. I'm telling you, this dude will be.
I like this.
I'm gonna go back to Nathan's comment too. Show Nathan some love. Will Anderson at 4 is a straight dog. I agree with this.
That was Zach's original pick.
Depending on who's gone and who's left at quarterback, I'm 100% okay with this pick.
In this scenario, right? In this scenario, we can still probably get Hendon Hooker as a QB prospect. So it's not like we're missing out on QB. And whoever we get at QB at 4 is going to probably at least spend 6 games behind Minshew, if not longer. So it's not the worst deal. It's not the worst setup.
No, it's not.
To that point, I just want to comment on this real quick. Jordan, if you had Hendon as your 3rd best thrower, are your first 2, I'm guessing, Stroud and Young? Answer that for me real quick.
Hey, you have a good night too, Joey.
I think Hooker's the best thrower of the football in the draft. Just natural. I'm not talking like.
All right, Joey, you have a good one as well.
Just spinning it.
Yeah, I want to go back to your earlier point too about Hyatt, in that like every year, right? Every year there's always players that are benefactors of like a great scheme or a great coach, and then they get to the pros, and since they're not that individual talent themselves, they kind of fall out, right? Like they kind of don't live up to those expectations. And I'm not trying to be a hater because obviously I'm an LSU guy, but I'm worried that those 2 Tennessee receivers, Hyatt and Cedric Tillman, were benefactors of that. They're good. They're good, but I don't know if they're as good as they have it rated, right? And they were benefactors of Hooker's arm and what's his name? Josh Heupel, I believe, is the coach.
Yeah.
His scheme, which was impeccable. I mean, amazing offense right down there. So I don't know if I believe that these guys are those number 1 talents that they're put up to be. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's my thing for receivers, though. I feel like receiver is the easiest transition from college to the pros.
The only difference is recruiting on the sideline. That's it.
Exactly, and the people that's covering you are a little bit better. So I don't necessarily want to say it's easy. Like every receiver is going to translate to the NFL.
Right. Sure.
I mean, that's just the easiest position to go from like whatever offense you're running to whatever
the least changes
for your routes to the NFL.
I thought that was running back.
No, I think running back is way different because in running back in NFL versus college, they're asking you to do way more.
Yeah,
and then
I would agree.
Depending on your team, you may go from an absolute elite running team in college to a team that's got different pieces at each part. So unless you're playing for certain teams that run a ball, it's not necessarily going to fit you. So
I thought it was just a play essentially running.
I just think transitioning from receiver to college to the pros, the only difference is really is who's covering you consistently in the league. So
now those guys covering you are about tenfold better than the guys that you were playing against every week in college.
And exactly, and that's what makes receiver hard at the same time. But I just think it's easier to transition as far as what you're doing, because at the end of the day, like you can go from like think back a few years ago, you can go from Darrelle Revis guarding you one week to Greg Toller guarding you the next week. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
So it's like,
but of course, in college, you can go from Sauce Gardner guarding you, and then the next week a no-namer who's never even going to sniff the NFL. So it's kind of the same thing. It's just in the NFL, it's still a pro player that got to that level. So it's still harder, but Greg Toller was.
So that's why I feel like it's a little bit easier now when you're playing running back. A lot's going to depend upon you for your offensive line, because the difference between a great running back and an average running back is, I want to say 2.1 yards per carry is the difference between your ability at running back. Now, if your offensive line is good or not, that changes a whole nother yard as well. So is like playing running back or a quarterback depends on a lot of different factors, and that changes the difficulty of that position. But I feel like at receiver, it's more so who's going against you that week.
The hardest development or the hardest transition from college to the NFL is edge, in my opinion.
Bro, it's offensive line.
Edge?
No. It's edge.
I was going to say
100%.
cornerback.
It's
I
not
would say
offensive
quarterback
line.
as well.
It's not offensive line. Let me say this real quick. And this is why I say this. Hold on. This is why I say this. Chill. Hold on. This is why I say this. Offensive line is not. Why? Because quarterbacks get the ball out faster in the NFL than they do in college football. So offensive linemen have a whole lot more grace period to develop. They don't have to hold their blocks as long. That's my only argument. That's my argument against offensive line, which is my opposite argument for edge, right? Because edge pass rushers. Because edge and pass rushers,
I would say DB too.
Edge and pass rushers, they have to. Hold on, man. Don't do that while I'm talking. Corner has it hard too. I'm not saying they don't, but now let me get to that. Let me finish the edge.
Go ahead.
Edge in college are pursuing quarterbacks who hold the ball extremely long. It's usually average between 2.5 to 3 seconds. You don't have that amount of time in the NFL. You need to drastically have to develop your speed off the edge. Plus, the offensive linemen are drastically faster. They're running they're running in 4 seconds, late 4 seconds. Consistently better. Mm-hmm. Corners, I got it. Yeah, sure. They have a tough transition, but most of them corners have just transitioned from wide receiver at the same time. So their adjustment isn't as much when it comes intellectually. Maybe physically, but I don't really think so. I really don't think it's as hard.
I think corner is absolutely the hardest.
No,
I mean,
corner, besides quarterback, corner is the second hardest position to play in football, in my opinion.
Tell me why.
Because you're running backwards at 4.4 speeds.
Exactly.
You'll be fine.
So these same guys that are called to be elite on every single down. Like when we talk about the guys that you go from covering, you can go from covering a guy that's shifty, a guy that's big, a guy that's fast, a guy that's strong, a guy that's tall. That's a guy you're going against every different position or every different size that's on the field each week. And then you think about how the NFL changes the rules to where offense is literally swayed to. You can't be as grabby as you were in college.
So then the only true argument you have is the rule change. That's the only argument. Because the size doesn't change, the speed doesn't change.
Yeah, it does.
I think it does.
It definitely changes.
How?
Because you think Julio Jones maybe college.
Hold on. Let's say you play at a team like Alabama or Ohio State. You're playing teams that their wide receivers are the same size that you're going to play in college or in the NFL.
But not every week.
Dudes are running the same.
Yeah, but not every week. You may face a guy that came from a school that you never even heard of.
You can't
100%.
You can't say wide receiver is the easiest transition and then DB is the hardest transition when they're both just the opposite of each other.
Yeah, it is, because if you think about when you're in college and you're playing receiver, most of the guys that are guarding you are about 10, 15 yards off. They're barely touching you. And if they do, they get to come up and grab you and do everything. And a receiver, you're literally take one step and you're open. Like, look at how many receivers go off for 2,000 yards and 25 touchdowns because it's easy to play there. So when you go to the NFL, you're not putting up those same kind of yardage, but you got a guy that's coming up and he's going to pressure you in your face. He's going to jam you.
Spacing is different.
Only 5 yards. Only 5 yards. So once that DB,
now you're telling me that transitioning from wide receiver to DB is harder.
No, because not many transition from wide receiver to DB and then go.
No, you know what I meant. From wide receiver into the NFL from college is harder than transitioning from DB.
No, I'm saying
Yes,
DB. It's harder to guard those guys because you have to change so much. So if I'm a DB and I'm college, guess what? I can grab this receiver all the way to the fucking end zone, and I'm probably not going to get a flag. I go to the league, I can't touch this guy past 5 yards.
So, like I said, again, your biggest argument is the rule change. It's not about the size. It's not about the speed because that doesn't change.
No, I would argue the size and speed does change.
The only thing that changes is the development of the route running. That's it. It's not the speed.
No, there's the size. Dude, no, there's the size too. Look, there's one week.
You're in the NFL. You're in the NFL. You're getting older. You're getting slower. You're not getting faster. The fastest point of your NFL career is your NFL combine. That is your fastest time.
Oh, I don't know, man.
That's not true. You're training every day of your career to get better, to get faster, to get stronger.
But you're not going to get that much faster.
Your prime doesn't hit until you're about 25 to 28. So in that time, that's
you're
where
not getting that much faster.
Yes, you are.
Let me butt on this for just a minute, right?
No, hold on. Tell me someone who ran a 4.3 in their NFL combine and is now running a 4.0 or a 3.9.
No, you don't get faster like that. That's combine speed. Everybody calls that the what is it?
So again, like I said, route running.
The Shorts Award running in that game speed and combine speed is two way different things. I'm telling you right now, Deshaun Jackson has been playing for forever, and this man's still 36 years old and taking people deep. This is you go from college to studying books and going to class and doing X, Y, and Z before you go play. In the NFL, you were getting paid just to go train in the offseason every single day. You're getting faster, you're getting better, you're getting smarter. So when you go to play DB, like I said before, it's not just the rules. I can go from guarding Antonio Brown 1 week, then I'm guarding Julio Jones the next week. Think about the difference you're playing at that. I'm guarding a guy who's going to run every route in the route tree, and he's fast, and he's quick, and he can move. Then I go to Julio Jones, who's going to take me deep. He's going to beat me over the top. He's going to snatch the ball over my head. I got to try and guard this man.
Highlight reel.
What I can do. And then you go to Calvin Johnson. Then you go to Isaiah McKenzie. Then you go to Stephon Diggs. Then you go to Justin Jefferson.
You can't put McKenzie in there. Hold on.
But you're literally acting.
No, I'm not saying.
You're literally acting like these dudes don't change wide receivers every week their whole life.
No, but it is different in the league, man. It is different.
Tell me how many college receivers are elite right now, Zach?
Like if they're
just college that they would call elite, like this guy is this good in college, right? How many?
Well, that, in my opinion, that's every receiver that makes it from college to the pros.
Right?
They were all top dogs.
Now, how many times do you say that about a defensive back?
This minute, the best one since
Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner, and before that it was Jalen Ramsey.
A few that they call that.
That's why corners,
there's so many of them.
That's why corners go top 10 and receivers go top 25.
Exactly, because there's so many of them. Everybody wants to play receiver.
Well, and the stats are oversaturated for receivers. I mean, my God, we're throwing the ball 50 times a game. It's all around the field. You got finance majors getting 1,000 yards and 25 touchdowns versus,
I'm loving this tonight. We had a debate
versus a quality.
I still disagree. Opponent. I just think everything being said is excuses, and I think it's not a transition.
There's absolutely a point.
To me, no one likes skill players anyway. The game is won in the trenches. So I look at it like offensive line and defensive line are your hardest positions to transition to, with quarterback being the pinnacle because you have to literally learn an entire foreign language. And then on top of that, you have to be able to process information.
Half these offensive linemen have played one type of scheme their whole life. And I still don't think they're the hardest transition. I think they have it hard. They do. But I think that their transition is a little different because their quarterback can get the ball out a little bit faster.
Bro.
I think your quarterback can change it for your offensive lineman, and like depending on who you're playing with. I do agree to that point, but I just think going from a defensive back in college to the pros, I just don't think. Outside of quarterback, obviously,
in 30 years, in 30 years of watching football, I've seen more cornerbacks come in from college and play very well their rookie season, and I've seen less defensive ends come in and be able to play very well.
Well, that's why it's called a premium position. D end is, in my opinion, top 3 hardest positions to play. Right behind quarterback, corner, and D end are, in my opinion, the toughest 3. Because defensive end, as you said, you have to get faster, you have to get smarter, you have to essentially recognize.
You have to be a freak, man.
Yeah, you have to be an athletic freak, and you have to be able to recognize, defensive and offensive stances super quick.
Well, see, I think the misconception with that is, though, is I think that just like quarterback, I feel like defensive end is just a forced position. So, like, if you see how many quarterbacks fail and how many defensive end fail, it's because everybody wants to get that top tier guy to be able to either stop the quarterback or for a quarterback to be great. And I think that's a lot of times what happens to that position. And I mean, you can say the same thing for defensive back, but I think defensive back is just purely just harder because of what you have to do on a week-to-week basis. And I don't want to underplay defensive end or pass rusher, but I really think it's a little bit different when you're the guy you're going to get after a pass rusher. After a quarterback, and you don't necessarily have to do as much. Not much changes for you on that front end of what you're doing in your pass rush.
Scheme helps,
But here's the thing. Just like Jordan just said, you can protect an offensive lineman. I got that. I agree with you 100%. Offensive lineman, I think, is a little easier to develop than what we are debating. The debate is necessarily defensive end and corner. I can say that defense is probably the hardest position to transition to as a whole. Absolutely. If you're a defender going into the NFL, it is the hardest thing to do because you're learning things that you've never seen before in your life.
And the rules don't favor you.
But the thing is just like this, you can say that the only way you're going to protect a young corner is by putting a safety over him. The only way you're going to help a defensive end is having a guy like DeForest Buckner or Aaron Donald or J.J. Watt when he played on the inside. You see what I'm saying? But those guys need to – there's not. So these defensive ends, just like corners, are out there on their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why I said I'm not trying to downplay it. I just think being out there on that island, me personally playing
they're both on an island. If you really think about it, most defenses only have one edge rusher that's actually considered an edge rusher. The other guy is actually a defensive end. One guy sets the edge, the other guy is the rusher. And the rushers are still on an island. They're usually the one facing the left tackle.
And they have to play Trent Williams.
I'm not saying they're on an island like a corner. I know there's a huge difference of being on an island at that point. I got that. I'm just saying I still think it's harder from my standpoint of playing on that position. It's pretty tough. And seeing guys like Myles Garrett, who was a number 1 fucking prospect. I think he went number 1 that year.
Yeah, he went number 1.
And his rookie year was trash. And you see that.
It wasn't trash.
It was garbage. It was garbage from what he was supposed to be. Yes, it was. I remember watching it. Yep.
Let's pull up his stats real quick. Because I remember
I thought he won rookie of the year.
He did. The only ready-made defense.
But that doesn't mean much.
What? That doesn't mean
that means a lot. What? That means a lot.
That means he was better than a quarterback.
He had 7 sacks his rookie year, so not as dominant as you would like him to be, but that's a solid rookie year.
No, those 7 sacks are exactly have been holding up Chase Young's career since he started. Those same 7 sacks that he had. That is a lot for a rookie defensive end. Matt, me and you have talked about it before as well.
It's a solid rookie year.
When we talked about Kwity Paye and Dayo Adangbo, we were like, we weren't really worried about defensive end because they usually take about 1.5 years to 2 to develop into that elite pass.
Just like Myles Garrett. And now look at him. Myles Garrett's at top of the league.
That's what I'm saying. Those 7 sacks, that's a lot for a guy in his first season. Anytime you see that, if you see that from a 2nd, 3rd round, 4th pick at a defensive end, you're like, oh my God, this guy might be something.
We have a guy.
I mean, sure, but you also can't just look at it as 7 sacks. You got to look at specific games. You got to look at all that stuff. I remember watching Myles Garrett because I loved him in college that year. And I remember watching him, and he was unimpressive the majority of the year. Yeah, he had some big games where he had multiple sacks. But that's how you got to look at it. You can't just look at the stats and be like, oh, yeah, he had 7 sacks that year. That's a great year. Like, he could have had a game where he had 4, and then he could have had 1 game where he had 3, and then he had 14 games of no sacks. You see what I'm saying?
To me, the best defensive end, ready-made defensive end to come out has been Nick Bosa. Like, from rookie year on through.
Don't disrespect Von Miller like that, bro.
Bro,
Von Miller's rookie season might have been the craziest rookie season that I've ever followed in my entire life.
Yeah, but
outside of Dwight Freeney,
because Dwight Freeney was on the other side. Bosa didn't have
the same defense.
No, bro. I'm not. Nah. He was still that dog.
Bro, he had DeMarcus Ware and Elvis, 5'11" Elvis Doomerville with 64-inch arms.
I don't care. I don't care if you would have blocked Von Miller with 5 linemen and nobody else was helping him. I think he still would have been.
I just think Bosa, in my opinion, Bosa is one of the better defensive end products to come out in a long time. And
I don't disagree with that.
He had no problem transitioning from college to the pro game. Like, he didn't even miss a beat.
So you have your freaks, you have your Bosa brothers, you have your Watts. They're all freaks of nature.
Absolutely.
Them dudes, I mean, the Watts growing up in Wisconsin were sitting there hanging out in ice lakes and shit, just kind of chilling in the water. Like, you're crazy. I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah.
But hey, good debate. That was fun. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And both points are fair, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy to fucking transition from
any position,
really,
especially the defense, man. By the way, I just want to say, like, that's what makes Sauce Gardner so insane to do what he did his rookie year. Like, it's unheard of, man.
Well, not just Sauce. What's the name too from Seattle? Because a lot of schools are coming out. Tariq Woolen. They came out a lot more developed lately rather than before.
All right. Everybody's talking about it. It's time for the mock draft 3.0.
Happy to give you guys a debate. We're going to get ready to get into this mock draft.
We're on the same side again.
All right.
Man,
we're never on the same side. I'm pretty sure Ballard and those guys get down like this in their debate room.
Oh, they do, for sure. They definitely do.
They get
more so the scouts, because the scouts don't want to get fired. So the scouts probably go back and forth, and Ballard sits there and watches. But, all right, so this is the first discussion that I want to bring up, because earlier – I did it, and I thought that it was a steal to go ahead and trade up to number 3.
I don't think it's realistic if we're putting a realistic.
Oh, you know what? Real quick before
I think it is. I mean, Ballard even said he's on. They're looking at every avenue's approach. Moving up to 3 could still be in play.
Hold on. Before we jump into this, I know somebody had a
this
comment
draft
about it. And,
is this like best overall player?
It was Jordan's comment here. He said, "Here's a question: because if Houston is not settled and they want to move, even if it may cost just a little more, do we make the call?"
We make the call. Houston doesn't pick up the phone.
Yeah. Chad commented back on here. I think Houston will want a ton from a division rival.
Yeah,
so that has always been my reaction to this. I feel like if we were to try and trade with Houston would want JT. They would want Shaq. They would want Woods, Quentin Nelson, and they'd want 2-3 first-round picks.
So that was this question. This question was asked to Ballard too in one of his press conferences, and the way they asked is trading with a division rival out of the question? And
he said no.
He said no, because what he said was, as long as the price is right for both teams.
Exactly.
Which it will never be right for both teams.
Right.
Absolutely not.
So
nor should it be. Like, there's no way they're going to help us get our franchise quarterback.
Right. So, if Houston didn't ask for the farm, what the fuck is Houston doing then? Like, that's to be expected.
Yeah, they have to.
Right. But let's talk about trading up, because it's fairly cheap to move up to 3.
No, if we're trading up to 3, I want you to literally don't do Ryan Kelly. Put Mo Cox in at 3.
So I was just about to say, so the fact that Ryan Kelly got the call and they were talking about it, I think Ryan Kelly's pretty safe at staying.
I don't know how to add a player, to be completely honest.
I will say this though, whereas trading up to 3 might not be overly expensive for us, like realistically, I think Arizona can get more from guys behind us.
Trev, hold on, man. Hold on. What'd you say?
No, I was gonna say click on add picks, but I think that's just the picks that you're already.
Yeah, I tried. I don't know how to add. I don't know how to add players on here. I don't think it lets us, man.
Click on Indy where it shows our name up there. What does that do?
Nothing. We can only click on Arizona.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
So we can't add players. But that doesn't allow us to do this. But I think, in my opinion, this is cheap.
Bro, a 2 next year?
Just a second rounder? Just a second rounder next year.
Yeah, it is. And that's kind of the point I was making, right? Is that it works for us and like it works on here, but I think Arizona will get more from a team like Detroit or a team like Las Vegas that wants to move up, that will offer them the farm or at least more than we are.
So
And
supposedly
Arizona doesn't care who gets the spot. They care about what they're getting back. And those teams might offer more to jump us.
Supposedly Arizona said a team in the double digits has called for their number 3 pick.
I imagine half the league is calling because everyone knows Arizona's okay to move.
I would do a 3rd and this year's 5th from Arizona for our first.
That's exactly what Jordan said here.
Yeah, that's where I got it from. Yeah.
4, and you got the 3rd round? This year's 3rd?
Yeah. No, next year's 3rd.
Wait. Do we
Next
all even think it's necessary to trade, though?
And this year's 5th.
It's not enough.
Guys, I'm cool with saying that 4.
Yeah,
my opinion.
Yeah, I was just about to say, are we all even?
Go ahead. No. We're just talking about compensation. We're not talking about actually putting the trade. I'm not going to submit it.
No,
we're just going to build it.
4. I see no desire
build it
to
and then
trade.
discuss it. Okay, well then, I think I'm outvoted then.
I would like to trade up, but I don't. If we're doing it realistic, I think it's more realistic that we get jumped by a team behind us than it is that we move up one spot.
Well, this is what
especially
I'm
considering how conservative Ballard is and the fact that we'll have to give up probably 3 picks to move up 1. He's not going to like it.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and hit start then, since we're not trading. Good? No trade.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Will Witherspoon, what the fuck?
So we got a few.
Detroit just tried to trade with him.
They're giving up the whole draft.
They're trying to give us
the whole draft.
A second, a 3rd, a 5th, a 6th, and a
Take it.
But again, realistic, that's not going to happen.
Let's be realistic.
Yeah, no one's
in real life,
that.
Bro.
No,
we're not talking. We're not
No.
talking realistic when this happens. We're gonna talk it through. All right. If we
I don't think this
Bro,
is realistic at all because
I
I don't
would
think
do
Detroit
that.
is going to trade up to take a quarterback. I think Detroit is going to take best defensive player available.
Hey, is this Madden?
They just gave us their draft.
but
they're not giving us their draft.
Is this
Yeah,
Madden?
You're right. All right.
It's
I'm
definitely
rejecting all of
Madden.
these. I'm rejecting all of these.
Hey, is this 2K?
That's fake as fuck. But CJ
That's
Stroud is there.
insane. Whoa, did that say
Whoa.
Devin Witherspoon went number 1?
Yeah. No.
He went number 3.
3.
Oh, 3. Okay, I was about to say.
So yeah, we can't account for the computer being weird, but
Wait,
Go
so
to
we got
QB.
CJ Stroud, Wilt Anderson, and Jalen Carter all on the board right here.
Go
Wow.
to QBs because I got a hot take. I was talking about this earlier with Matt. I think if CJ Stroud, AR, and Will Levis are on the board at 4, I think they go Will Levis just because that's truly who I believe they are hyped up and they absolutely love and adore.
I don't want to
Like,
go
I'm
with
com-
Levis.
I'm confident in that.
Ain't no way.
Bro, if it doesn't
I don't
happen,
like
I'd be
it.
amazed.
I'm voting against the Will Levis.
I feel you, but that's just who I think.
I'm running the pick to Stroud in.
Hey, let's go BYU. All right, Jaron Hall.
you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Mormons are smart. They do what they.
How did Vince McMahon say it? You're fired.
Yeah, you're fine.
Jordan, I'm serious.
No,
I'm serious, bro.
100%.
I'm on
100%.
Google.
If CJ is on the board at 4, I think you have to take him. You're doing yourself a disservice if you
Yeah,
don't.
I think.
I agree.
As
Yeah.
much
I still
as
think
love
they
my
choose
guy
Levis.
Anthony Richardson,
We're going with CJ Stroud.
I think
but-
that's a crazy pick.
In this scenario, right? If CJ is available, we got to
Look
take
at
him. If
that.
not,
Will
it's
Levis
probably
didn't even
right?
Levis didn't even go until like the late round.
All right, yeah, I don't know how entirely realistic.
Why
the
are
computer
they
is, but-
offering so many picks? Like,
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It wasn't
who are
doing
making
this
these
earlier.
offers?
It wasn't doing this earlier.
Whoever's
This one's
making
next year's.
these-
Look at all
that's
that.
trippy.
Well, hell
We
yeah,
couldn't-
take that.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
kidding.
No, hell no.
That's
We
like
could
9
even
picks.
find the draft class.
That's
I
like
take
9 picks.
Wait.
I ain't taking any of these, bro. Fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
I want to know
Hey.
who calibrated this
Hey, my
shit.
boy's
Get-
here.
Get your
So-
boy Michael Mayer from.
Yeah, realistically though, Michael Mayer's gone long before 35,
Right.
in my opinion. I think Kincaid might be as well. I would argue if we're sitting right here and realistically those top tight ends are gone, I'd go Cam Smith 100%. He's someone I've been tooting the horn for a while. He's a very long corner. He gets his hand involved in every play. He's a guy that we could use on the outside. I'd go Cam Smith all day personally at
What's the
35.
guard look like? guard situation.
I'm
Interior
taking
offensive
Keely
line.
Ringo.
Ringo. I'm going Ringo. 100% Ringo.
But I do hear you, Zach. I'd check out guard.
Just let me take a peek at
Inside
interior
the
offensive
line.
line.
Oh, give me
see
John
what
Michael
is.
Schmitz.
Yeah, give me
John
Smits.
Michael Schmitz.
Smits.
Schmitz, baby.
All right.
We'll still get the corner.
And then corner
Let's
here.
hope.
I say if Cam Smith's
Yeah.
gone, we got to go Julius Prince.
I love Ringo, but getting that elite guard right there would be something. And Schmitz has a maniac.
It is interesting that they have Foskey available. He's
yeah,
slotted
that
to
is
go first
interesting.
round.
Oh, you guys is Garrett
Garrett
Williams. You
Williams.
guys is guy Garrett
Garrett
Williams.
No,
right there.
I'm on Garrett Williams.
I will argue a little bit against Garrett Williams just because I think he's Kenny Moore 2.0. I think he plays the same style as Kenny Moore, sorry. And I think we need a guy on the outside. I don't know if Garrett Williams is that guy. Just looking
Trev,
at
I think
tape.
you might be wrong on that one. I need to look
What
it
about
up. I'm
Hodges
almost
Tomlinson?
positive they're literally the opposite.
Hodges is a
I don't know.
I
Just
think Hodges might
watching
be a
his
little
tape,
more
he played a lot
size.
against the slot. He played a lot, like kind of in the numbers, and that's just not the guy I feel that we need. I would go Hodges Tomlinson before Williams, or even Ricks before Williams, personally.
Hey, is Darius Rush any good, or is he the other corner?
To me, he's the other court. He's solid, but I like Cam Smith out of East Carolina a lot more.
Okay.
I'm
glad Matt-
Trev is right about Garrett Williams. Him and Kenny Moore are like twins.
I'm glad Matt got that reference. Okay, the other corner. He's only going pro. He's only going pro because the guy across from him is damn good. Okay.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah.
Tariq
Okay.
Williams.
Yeah, personally, I'm going Tomlinson or Ricks here easily.
I'm not
Y'all
taking
know I'm-
Williams. Or
Let me
Y'all know
check
I'm big on
my-
Hodges.
Let me check my board real quick.
You're bored. You Googling something?
Dude, I don't love
No, I
bringing in
gotta-
Williams
I
unless
gotta
we're trading him.
I gotta look at my notes. Gotta look at my notes, man. Not.
I like Hodges Tomlinson over anybody on here because even
So I
as a
got
Miami-
Tariq. I got Tariq as number 16.
bro, Tyreek Stevenson is dog shit.
Yeah, I
know
don't
why
like
you would say
I
that.
got THT rated higher than him. So I
Yeah.
don't know about this.
Tyreek Stevenson. I'm a Miami fan, but he's like dog shit.
Yeah,
Like, he's a late round corner.
I even got Eli Ricks higher than him.
I'll put in my vote for Hodges Tomlinson here.
I'm in there too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a reach, but I think he's got higher upside and worth it more so. Than,
Slight
do
reach,
we-
maybe.
Do we go after a guy like Foskey here and then see if Hodges is available? Like, let's look at edge because I thought there's some decent guys available at
That's
edge.
not a bad.
I mean,
idea.
Foskey's a dog, man. I don't know. And again, like if
There-
we're playing this realistically, I think Foskey's gone long before.
I think this would be one of those situations we think about Ballard, right? When we go best player available, I think
You
Foskey
trade
right
back?
there.
He's going
Would you
Foskey.
trade
Getting him a third round pick.
Ooh, hey, receiver. Why haven't we looked at receiver?
That's another good point.
because there's
Mingo's
nobody there.
solid.
Hey, I've been hearing some huge raves about Marvin Mims, who's definitely. I think I'm gonna say it was down year from his other years, but he's played with Drake May, he's played with some other guys, so I think him or Mingo. I know a lot of people love Mingo as well.
I like Mingo a lot, man. What I don't like, even though I'm wearing the LSU hoodie, is Keyshawn Butte, man. I think he's an absolute plus. Whoever takes him, it's not good.
Butte is
Man.
He's got all the talent in the world.
Trev
He got all
really
the
does
talent in the
not
world.
like
Look,
him.
Butte got all of his hype off of one game against Ole Miss where he put up like 300 yards, like video game numbers, and he hasn't done a goddamn thing ever since. He's overrated by a mile. Malik's neighbors across from him on the other side of the field was far better of a wide receiver. And again, I watched every game this year. Keyshawn Butte doesn't have him, man. He shouldn't go higher than the 6th round in this draft.
If
I'm
we're
not
looking at
crazy about
receivers, I
any
want
receivers
Mingo.
right here. Yeah, he's who
Yeah.
I want, but I think Foskey is our best available player. In my opinion, Foskey is who I would take at this pick.
What about that dude from
I'm-
Auburn?
I don't know, man. I think I might go with Marvin.
Foskey's
Mims.
way better than Derek Hall.
From
I
Auburn?
might go with Marvin.
It's
Mims.
Foskey's a
Rusher,
game
though.
changer if you can get him, man. If
Hey,
Foskey's a
there's a
game,
reason why Foskey was supposed to be a top 10 pick this year.
and I believe he will be, which is the only reason I haven't put in my vote for him here,
Okay.
just because I don't think he's
So-
actually there at 79.
So which way are we going? Because we got Jordan in the comments saying Mingo.
I would go Mingo because I
You
like
know,
his
that's a good
upside.
I
kicker.
can say Mingo.
I'm
Let's look at kicker.
sticking with Hodges Tomlinson here.
Yeah, I
Who you
mean,
got, Damon?
I got Foskey. That's the Ballard pick. If we're we're doing our own mock draft here, but we all know if that guy's available.
Yeah,
Ballard
if he was, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you take him. It's the fastest card turned in history because there's no way this guy falls to the third round, and if he does, I mean, that's the steal of the century. Foskey's a top 15 talent.
Who you got, Matt?
I'm kind of with Trev, man. I'm with Trev on Tomlinson.
Oh, THT. Damn.
So that
leaves us really split. We got 2 for Mingo. We got 2 for THT.
Yeah. Jordan, where you going?
He said Mingo already.
I'm just going back to how we said we wanted to do this as realistic as possible. I think Foskey's gone by like 15, dude. Otherwise, I'd be the first one pushing that forward.
See, I got Mims or Foskey there, so I guess Foskey that'd be a 3-way tie.
I mean, you guys know how I feel about edge anyway, so.
Do we really need it? I mean, is edge really?
You know how Ballard is in the trenches. He will take a defensive end if he could every pick.
Who's starting across from Quiddy right now?
Ibukam?
We got a Foskey.
Ibukam, right?
Samson Ibukam.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take an edge because I'm not. I mean, Ibukam was really solid with the 49ers, but I'm not sold that he's like.
So how
like a guy you can just start every year and just expect to get 10 sacks a year? Like I don't know if he's that guy.
Okay, so how sure are we that Mingo or Mims is going to be here?
They may not, but I don't think those guys are good enough with the receiver room that we have to need to take them right now.
I think it's much more realistic that Mingo and Mims are available as opposed to Foskey. In the third round, I think they're there.
Let's go ahead and
that's a good point. I think Trev's right on that one. Probably go with the edge rusher Foskey here, and we got a better chance of getting Tomlinson, Mims, or another receiver in the 4th round.
I agree.
All right, we'll go with that. So Foskey.
Yep. There's no way he's still there.
That's a solid draft. Those 3 right there.
If he's there,
Foskey's nasty, dude.
Bro, they trying to give us some trash ass picks. Talking about 3 7th-rounders. Like, what are we supposed to do with that?
Yeah, get out of here.
Oh, there's Zach Harrison. He's another stud from Ohio
State. Another guy.
THT right there. Boom.
Take him.
Hey,
Mingo.
Yeah, now the debate is Mingo and Tomlinson, right?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Corner.
Give me Mingo.
Everybody, let us know. Let us know. Are we going?
Hey, hold on. Let me edit the ticker. Tomlinson.
So I'm just gonna make my argument here, right?
Or Mingo.
So if we look at our receiver depth, we think our receiver depth is not as bad as our corner depth. Right?
Correct. That's 100%.
So I think THT, just the fact out of need and availability, should be this pick here.
I agree.
Does anybody disagree? Because I agree. I think we're on the same page. Zach?
I really like Mingo. But
yeah, I do too. It's tough right here. I'm thinking of need and want here.
Right. He's good, but Mingo is not going to get the snaps in the first year, maybe in the second year.
I think high upside, and I think the smart thing to do was THT, even though Mingo gives you that high upside and has those traits that Ballard likes.
I think THT has a more impact in his first year than a receiver is going to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I would argue too that Tomlinson goes way higher than 106. Like I think if we get a guy like that, we got to get him a little earlier.
He's
and I like the fact that we did go inside offensive linemen. So just like how we said, if whichever QB we draft, we need to protect the right way. So if we were to draft Anthony Richardson, we probably wouldn't need to take a guard that early.
Right.
Round pick because he's more mobile. So
I would add to that too, just because I want to throw my guy in here. If we took a guy like Richardson, right, that has a lot of motion and a lot of options, I would go in the 4th round maybe with the guy I've been throwing out, Nick Broker, because he played in that read option offense with Jackson Dart last year and was phenomenal in it. So I'd take that guy all day. And I agree with what you're saying. Depending on the quarterback we go, that kind of decides where we pick our guard.
And is Eli Ricks trash?
No, he is not trash.
And I would almost make a case for Ricks if I wasn't so like blown away with how good THT was. Just because Rick sees that level of competition that you expect in the next level, like week in and week out. So there's a fair debate between Ricks and Tomlinson.
Because to me, it's a toss-up. Is there anybody else who has a higher upside that's available that you could feel comfortable about taking over those corners, or is corner the move?
I think corner has to be the move because we don't have one and we don't have much depth.
Yeah, I would agree.
That's
Fair
what I
enough.
was
Okay.
saying.
All
I
right.
just think at
All
this point it'd be good to get a guy that has some good ability already
That's fine.
and not
All
wait
right.
too long.
THT.
It is. Let's go.
Absolutely. You guys may take note that Butte was still on the board there in the 5th
The
round.
Titans are trying to trade with us.
I'm giving us.
Hey, this
crap.
might be this looks like the most legit trade I've seen all day.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
not taking it.
Just because it's the Titans.
100%.
Oh yeah,
Fuck 'em.
100%. Fuck them guys. They need to give me Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to speak up because I like Stanford. Michael Wilson from Stanford, he's very good. And then that's my favorite corner, second favorite corner in the draft.
Hey,
Caillou Kelly.
I'm sorry, Zach, but with Xavier Hutchinson right there,
Yeah, I was about to say the
So
same
let's
thing.
pull
fair
up
enough.
wide receivers though.
that
Let's pull up
boy
wide
is
receiver.
dog.
Fair enough.
Xavier Hutchinson right there.
Hey,
I
that
mean,
kid from Princeton, the Andre Lavos or whatever the hell it is from Princeton, he's nice. He's a route runner.
I'm not taking a
But-
Princeton kid though.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
I'm
Hell no.
sorry.
What?
Scroll
No.
down a little bit because I just want to see if my guy's in there.
Xavier Hutchinson is my 14th ranked receiver, and he's still on the board. And we're in the 5th round now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess he already went in the mock, but I again want to make the
we
case.
already missed out on we already missed out on Mims.
Yeah.
I'm going Hutchinson
I-
here. Or Demario Overshown, or I'm going linebacker.
No way Demario Overshown is there in the 5th though.
Right.
That dude's a
Oh.
freak.
I
Yeah,
agree. I'd
that's
probably go
linebacker, right?
Xavier in the 5th. I
Right.
do want to say though. I don't know if he went earlier in this mock draft with the computer, but I would 100% go Tyler Scott in the 4th or 5th round. He's a guy I shouted at before out of Cincinnati, just because of the versatility he brings. We talked earlier about bringing a guy like Hines into the offense that can make plays out of the running back position in the passing game. He was a running back, transition to wide receiver. He does both excellently. I would love to see how that guy fits in Shane Steichen's offense.
Hey, show me a linebackers just because it's on a Ballard draft. It's on a backer.
Xavier Hutchinson fits that ballot mold.
Oh, Ivan
Yeah, Ivan Pace. Ivan
Ivan
Pace
Pace?
is nasty.
Yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah,
Pace
that's
is
my
there.
guy. That's my guy, Ivan Pace, man.
Do we need him? Yeah, I would. So is Yasir Abdullah.
I don't know if we
Damn.
need him this early, but
I mean,
And
it's not really early
Demario
anymore.
Overshown, dude.
It's a fair
Jeez.
spot to take him, and I probably would.
no, I'd take him next round. I think he should still be there.
Yeah, I think he'll be.
But,
I mean, look at all the
I do
guys being
think-
available right now at linebacker.
I think Xavier Hutchinson fits the Ballard mold perfectly. 6'3", 210.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'll
but
go
we
Hutchinson
got-
as well.
I like what Jordan said. We got 3 picks in the 5th. You can probably wait on receiver and get someone decent.
I mean, that's true too.
Who's
Man, you
someone
guys gotta be
decent?
going back
If you
and forth.
scroll down this receivers list, who's left?
It starts to fall off in the 5th round, man. I mean, you can make a
I
case for
mean-
Bennett, maybe.
After scroll down a little bit slower because I was so fast and I'm old and can't read.
You're younger than me. motherfucker.
Wicks is solid, but
Wicks is
That's
good.
not-
A.T. Perry,
Raheem
Jaden
Jarrett's
Jarrett,
okay.
he's
Jaden
okay.
Reed.
If A.T.
or
Perry's
Parker
there, you
Washington.
take him without a second thought. But I didn't see A.T. Perry earlier. I was looking for him.
Scroll down a little bit more, Matt. Oh, Trey
Ronnie
Tucker
Bell,
was
he's a
there.
stud. Jalen
I like Ronnie Bell.
Jalen Cropper, is that your guy out of Fresno?
No, my dude from Fresno's undrafted. He's gonna be. His last name starts with an F, and he's Samoan. So
Yeah, honestly, after seeing Ronnie Bell still available, I'm totally okay to wait on wide receiver.
I mean, I'll just wait on receiver because there's still some studs there, and we can possibly get a quality linebacker.
There's
and
projects there. I don't know if anyone's a stud left.
I
like
think
Owen Meape or Ivan Pace Jr. or Yasir Abdullah. In my opinion, bang for your buck.
See, you got Ivan Pace and Yasir right there next to each other. I feel like they would literally be there in the next round. So I don't see him forcing that pick
Yeah,
at
that is
linebacker.
true.
this early.
What's
that's
BPA
why I think you
then?
get a guy like Overshown. Overshown by far, bro. That Overshown. If we look at the list of linebackers right here, coordinates like our defense and what our defense looks like. Abdullah is not a Gus Bradley fit. I don't think so. I think Overshown is.
Really, but he's not going to be there in the 5th round.
Oh yeah, Overshown's also.
He is in front of us right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hey Matt, go to all real quick. Who's best player available?
It's Overshown. Oh no.
Oh, interesting.
My boy Kelly Blue.
I don't have Michael Wilson that high personally.
I don't either.
If we're going best player available, it's Overshown.
I mean,
that
I
guy
like
fits our defense.
Blue Kelly because he fits the system, but he's handsy as hell. But being 6'3", you can kind of get away with that.
Plus, we just took a corner in the last round, so
I double dip.
Really double dip, not right now.
I got Blue Kelly at 18.
Take Overshown because it's not a or take a Hutchinson. Either one, I'll be happy because it's not a Ballard draft unless you get a linebacker at some point. So.
that's 100% true.
I think next round we can get Ivan Pace. I'm almost positive.
So you say go Hutchinson here?
Ooh. You guys got me back and forth, man.
DeMarco, you just give us guys, man. Come on. Who to go?
So Jordan in the comments has a great point, too, is that we're trying to do this realistic, and there's just no way Overshown's there at 138, man.
That's what I'm saying. See, Jordan,
they have him rated entirely
25th. That's what I'm saying. I think one of those linebackers will be there.
Let's go Hutch.
It's just how realistically do we need another corner at this pick? I think more of a late round corner would be something that we'll go with to develop.
Sure.
But
I'll go Hutch as well.
Now, if I'm thinking realistically as well, though, that's a 6'3", 210 receiver.
You're about to be muted.
That we got.
You're thinking too much. You only got 10 minutes to make a pick, dog. We've been sitting here for 20.
Well, don't depend on me to make the pick.
I think that's 3 for Hutch now.
I would do Hutch.
We're going Hutch.
All right, Hutchinson it is, man.
Solid project, man. He can develop.
Go to those linebackers. One of those guys should be sitting there. Yasir.
Yeah, it looks like
gotta be Ivan Pace. I don't love Yasir. I don't love him. I know he had a solid year.
Ballard would have made that trade with the Chiefs. Just saying. And then
they're both there.
Like I said, both sitting there. And I'm taking Ivan Pace. I think Ivan Pace to me is an absolute dog. He can rush the passer. He's everywhere on the field. I love Ivan.
He's versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the guy. Pace?
Me personally, that's just me. I have.
I'm with you.
Easy pick. And D Winters is still there. Late round pick, my guy.
Ooh, dude. Hey, I like that kid from Texas. Hey, Moro Omojo or whatever his name is.
No, real quick, I want to make a hard case for Brandon Joseph. First of all, Notre Dame puts out great safeties every year. Every year, Notre Dame has great safeties. Second of all, Brandon Joseph was a playmaker all year. I know we don't necessarily need safeties, but at this point, you're going best player available, right? Especially like this late in the draft. I think Brandon Joseph is that guy. If he even makes it this far, it's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Like Trev just said there, Trev just made some big arguments for him there. I got him at number 6 as my safety. So unless we got somebody higher there,
who's corners? Show me your corners.
Disagreeing with Trev there.
Cameron Mitchell was solid. I don't dislike his game at all. Starling Thomas also really solid for UAB.
Oh,
he hasn't faced that top level competition that you want to see though.
Hey, Mekhi Blackman is an interesting one. He wasn't the most elite safety, but I think he can develop. Not safety, but corner. But I think he can develop and be pretty damn good. I like Mekhi Blackman.
Me too. I like him at SC.
Oh,
I also like Alex Austin from Oregon State, just because how gigantic he is, and Starling.
Yeah, he's my UAB. Alex Austin is my number 20. He's my corner that I got on there. So I think there's a couple different options there.
You can't go wrong, in my opinion. If we
are thinking corner here, I think Jordan. That's why I stumbled over my words and said safety, but I think he can play corner in the NFL. So if we're going corner here, Alex or Mekhi those two would be.
Yeah, I agree.
I go Cameron or Starling personally.
I don't know if we're
I'm going Brandon Joseph over any of these guys.
Yeah, he had that safety there. I mean, these safeties, man, are iffy. Outside of those first top 3, I mean, personally, I got Brian Branch, Antonio Johnson, and J.L. Skinner from Boise. After that, you get kind of iffy with safety, and then this cornerback draft is so deep. that I wouldn't be terribly mad to develop one of these late round corners. So,
give me Blackman.
Matt and Damon, it's up to you guys on if you're thinking any other position, but corner or safety might be the pick here for it looks like most of us, or for me, Trev and Zach, and Jordan in the comments.
No, I'm good with either one.
He said Joseph at safety or Blackman with the potential. Like I'm saying, like I think Blackman his development I think would be a big thing. As for Alex Austin, I think he's more ready to play than Blackman. If Zach, I don't know if you agree with me there, but I think.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. DeMarco, who you got?
I gotta go with my board, man. I got Austin over Blackman. Alex Austin out of Oregon State. What do you think, Zach? You agree with that, Zach?
I like the higher upside. Again, late round picks, I'm all about upside. And I think Blackman, upside-wise, has more to offer because of position versatility. So even though Alec Austin might be like the better pro, Blackman offers me the ability to play safety.
He means pro ready. Right. More pro ready. So like if we were to take one and start today, he's saying that Austin would be better, but in the long term,
I think we all understood that, man.
No, I was just making it clear. I was just making it clear for anybody listening, watching.
I want Blackman.
All right, Blackman. Trev.
Bro, respectfully, if Joseph is available, I'm running the card in. I am running it in. Brandon Joseph, safety, Notre Dame. Give me that dude. He's taking Nick Cross's job, in my opinion.
Okay. Damon. Damon.
Makai Black.
Strong opinion right there. Damon, we waiting on you, buddy.
I said Makai
Black. Y'all waiting on me.
Oh. Yeah, sounds like Blackman is the pick here. I mean, even Jordan has it in there. The only thing that I will argue against is Trev said he's running that Joseph pick in there. So I think
he's too good to let slip, man.
So Blackman.
So it looks like, I mean, we're pretty split between Joseph and Blackman. So we may need to, Matt, you got a coin there with you? You want to flip a coin?
No, I don't have a coin.
I don't have a coin either. I do not. Come on, guys. What are we going to do?
Screw it. Take the safety.
No, we'll go Blackman. We'll go Blackman.
Jordan's with me, too, in the comments. He said Trev.
I know. That's why. Yeah. That's why I ended up. I mean, I think one of those guys maybe even be there next round. So, yeah, it looks like Joseph might be the earlier
also, just to add to the point, right, we've already taken the corner as well. Like, I don't want to double dip if we don't have to, even though we could at corner and make up for it. No. But, man, Joseph I was
just about to say, Trev, if we take Joseph here, I'm pretty sure Blackman
he's still going to be there. I agree.
Austin, one of those guys will still be there.
All right, we'll take Joseph.
There we go.
Let's go.
Look at all these A+, bro.
Dude,
I'm telling you, if this is the draft, it's like you're looking at it on paper. There's no way. They might be fighting over
Alex Austin. It is.
See,
Austin's still there. Take
right
one.
There.
There we go. Easy pick.
Y'all want him?
Easy pick.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
I think there's no miss.
All right, let's go QB and let's go find Max Duggan.
No, we ain't doing that. I wonder if Max is still there though.
Is this our final pick?
Max is gone.
Nice.
Max is gone. My boy.
Hey, going best available. I saw Anthony Bradford available, and he was really solid for LSU last year. Cam Jones is also a decent pick, even though IU is
no. Cam Jones is trash. I will not hype up any IU prospect. Yes, trash.
IU is trash, but Cam Jones stood out for a terrible team.
He had like 4 ACL injuries in college.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Hey, Matt, you know who we missed?
Who?
We missed our guy, what's the name out of USC?
The guard.
Andrew Voorhees. We didn't even see where he was at.
I guarantee that man went early. He's rated as the second best guard.
I know. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Smith grade, and I don't know how the hell he got a B+ when he could arguably be the highest rated guy.
Yeah.
There's Ronnie.
Hey, just for fun, let's see who's available at running back here. Ashley is saying get a running back too.
I don't want a running back.
No, but with a late pick, you might get it. Hey, as a guy who
Peoples
watches
was a
the Sun
beast.
Belt, Cam Peoples is nasty. I'm just gonna.
Yes,
I
he
don't know
is.
if I want to take
Yes,
him,
he
but
is.
Cam Peoples is nasty.
I'll take him.
That guy was a
We
monster,
don't even
man.
need a wide receiver or a running back.
No, we don't. We don't. We
He
don't.
played at Appalachian State. His
Hey,
best game. His best
Let
game
me
was
just say, though,
versus
App
what
State-
was it? NC, and
Yeah.
where he played no defense.
What was
I
Darius
get
Leonard's
it,
best
I
game
get
in
it.
college?
I think that the total score in that game was like 130.
It was insane. It was insane.
Oh,
But
my.
you can use that argument for every Sun Belt player, every lower conference player, and in the 7th round, I don't think it matters anymore. I think you're picking off of what that guy showed on tape and what his potential is, right?
That's
and
fair.
if we're going off of
That's
that, I'm going Cam Peoples. If it's like 4th, 5th round, yeah, no, I'm not touching that guy. But 7th round,
Okay.
a guy that
So-
shined in the Sun Belt, that was arguably one of the best players in the entire conference, there's an argument there.
I got you. But let's refer to this comment then right here. Is this guy going to be a special team stud? Do you truly believe that?
I don't think he's fast enough. He's a big dude.
Because I think this is where Ballard would think right here.
Yeah, and that's 100% fair. And that's a great point by Jordan, is that we're probably looking at some kind of gunner, right?
Yeah,
And
so
this
I don't know if he's going to play.
Was
that.
Ronnie Bell available at receiver?
Yes.
Said Ronnie Bell right now.
Yes. Receiver from Michigan. He's available.
Hey, Ford
Hold
Wheaton
on.
was solid.
He is.
No argument that, yeah, if Ronnie Bell's there, I'm going Ronnie Bell.
Me too.
Yep. That's the dude.
Is that who we're
And
taking?
I think Ronnie Bell would be a special team stud.
Hey,
Yes, he
Jordan,
would.
you want to call in it? Yep. Jordan said as well. It looks like that's 4, Matt. Looks like that's the pick.
I like Ronnie Bell.
Those
The fact
first
that
like
Cam
5
Jones
picks
got
were-
drafted is trash.
So we came in with the goal of being as realistic as possible. The computer kind of made that difficult because their rankings are all over the place. But if we are somehow able to pull off this draft, man, it's a new age for the Colts.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, because that's a hell of a draft right there.
You got
Hey,
some guys that are gonna get second
Trev,
contracts.
You guys just got a 4-star safety, Deshaun McBride.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take all we can get, baby. Let's go.
But yeah, that's a hell of a draft. I mean,
Yeah.
it was 5 A+ and 3 B+.
Yeah, nothing on. I think for sure though, even though like some of the guys available might not be the most realistic, and we'll make that clear too. Like a lot of these guys are going to go earlier than where we picked them up. Obviously, we're going best player available, but just hitting the position groups how we did just now, I would love to see Ballard approach it with that game plan, like, in that priority as well.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to tell from Facebook. We'll see how many negative reactions we get, because I think we nailed pretty much every position, whether we went obviously quarterback, inside interior offensive lineman, cornerback, receiver. I think that should pretty much weed out all the people had said that we didn't draft a receiver, we didn't draft a corner.
If you get Ronnie Bell in the 7th round, like you're set. That guy I think will be a stud in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, particularly special teams probably with him. But I like a lot of the picks that we made. I do wish we would have got that inside slot receiver. But, with Isaiah McKenzie being on a 1 year and supposedly next year's receivers are supposed to be better.
So real quick, if you guys are down, I want to go through one guy that you guys feel like we missed with this draft, because I'll start big now. I keep saying it, but dude, I'm so excited about Tyler Scott's potential, and I want to see him in Colts blue next year. So Tyler Scott in the 3rd, man, more like 4th round. I'm setting off fireworks if we get that guy. So Tyler Scott is the one guy that we missed in this mock draft that I would love to see next Thursday.
Yeah, I'm not. I was named. I have Tyler Scott. Like I said, he was my number 13. I think he could be a very solid receiver as well. So I wouldn't be. I would like that pick as well. That's something that
I think Ringo. Is the corner for the Colts,
yeah,
man. Physical.
Man.
That's the most. You cannot argue with me. I will argue with anybody. Ringo is the most physical corner, man up corner in college football. He is the best fit. He's the best fit day one for our defense. What we're missing.
So I
don't think Rodgers. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree with the corner aspect, not the man aspect. I think he struggled in man a little bit, but I think in zone, I think he's.
I may have got that backwards
Yeah,
because he gets
I
beat
think-
deep. Yeah, he gets beat
Yeah,
deep. I got
yeah.
that mixed up. My bad.
I think in zone he's very elite, and that was a pick that I was saying I really wanted until we seen guard because of who we have at quarterback. So if we would have took Anthony Richardson, I think I agree with you with the Ringo pick being the second one. But the fact that if we had a Stroud a little less mobile, I think that John Smith's pick, I think that was the pick there because I think that guy. He brings that rookie level Quentin Nelson that we brought in that just straight. We're going to maul. We're going to get after you. I'm going to kick your ass, and I'm going to smile in your face with my front teeth missing like a hockey player almost.
Yeah, man.
It's remind me of, and that's why I love that pick there.
And I think Stroud has the mobility, but that's not how he wants to play, right? We saw him forced into it against Georgia, and he did it excellent. Like but it's also the only game that we've seen him do that because he was forced into it by Georgia's nasty front seven. So he has the capability to be mobile, but that's not the play style he wants to pursue.
Steichen made a good point in that McAfee interview too. Whenever they kept bugging him about quarterback, and they're like, "Do you have an idea of what your offense is going to look like?" And he said, "Everything matters about quarterback." So I think the matter of the draft, domino wise, depends on who we're taking. I mean, receiver, guard, whatever. I think all those guys specifically depend on the quarterback we're taking. In my opinion, I don't think we take the same receiver. I don't think we take the same style of guard depending on who we take here. So,
right. I mean, you look at how they structure things, right, and how Steichen's offenses have been structured in the past. Everything is tailored to the quarterback. It's 100% true. Everything was tailored to what would fit Hurts best this last season, right? Playing in Philadelphia, and just their play style, like the QB sneak. They're not doing that with Carson Wentz, right? But it's everything they've done is tailored to the quarterback. So I think you're 100% right. And whoever falls to us at 4, or if we move up, that's going to determine kind of how we go for the rest of the draft and how we shape our offense moving forward.
Well, I mean, Shane has known that he hasn't just worked with quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts. I mean,
right. He worked with Herbert. But he did the same thing with those guys in which he could tailor it to those quarterbacks.
I was just about to disagree with you on that, Trevor, on that point, because that QB sneak that worked for Jalen Hurts, that's the same QB sneak he ran with Gardner Minshew, and it didn't work.
The reason it works with Jalen Hurts is that man squats like 600.
I was going to say, he's a freak.
Absolute monster.
He tailors the offense to that quarterback. So even when Minshew didn't play, he changed up the way he would call the offense versus the way it was built for Jalen Hurts.
Just knowing that Jalen Hurts squats 600 pounds makes me want to go to the chiropractor and not leave.
Dude's an animal.
God bless you.
Thank you.
The prospect that I think Indianapolis that we missed, and or a prospect we think that Indianapolis will take, I'm 100% sold out. I'd said it earlier. People are all like, no way. It's Will Levis. I'm convinced. I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I'm sipping everything.
So did Damon. Damon drank it too.
It starts and ends with Will Levis, and I'm going to tell you why. Because while he struggles, he was hurt. He didn't have a quality offensive line in front of him.
It has to be said.
Kentucky was dog shit. Guys just don't forget how to play like that overnight.
Yeah.
And while I know Jordan's going to get mad, and Jordan, I feel your pain.
He already is.
I understand. I truly believe on the Colts draft board, it is Bryce Young, Will Levis, and everybody else. That's why I truly believe that if Will Levis is on the board there at 4 and CJ Stroud is there at 4.
Over CJ.
And Richardson is there at 4 because they've spent so much time with Will Levis. Because Ballard, I know for a fact, has been there for 2 years.
Have y'all ever seen
Will Levis?
Wait. Go ahead, DeMarco. You're trying to talk about that.
Go ahead, Damon.
Have y'all ever watched Will Levis get out of the pocket and run? He's cold. He is an actual full athlete. He has
watched
wheels.
Him at Penn State.
He'll run you over. He'll spin around you.
Don't say him at Penn State. He was trash at Penn State.
They only used him in running situations at Penn State.
Exactly, because he's trash.
He never got a chance to throw.
Not at Penn State. See, if you would have said Kentucky, I wouldn't be saying anything. But Penn State, he literally got beat out by what was the dude's name that ended up being a starter?
Sean Clifford.
Trace McSorley. Oh, Clifford. Okay.
Clifford was not good. Right. How do you get beat out by Clifford?
Because Franklin plays as seniors.
Hey, people develop.
Upperclassmen.
I mean, that's also
People
a coach's
develop.
decision for his scheme, right? Like Burrow was beat out at Ohio State, but he was
Right.
clearly the best quarterback.
Clearly better than Haskins, right?
Okay, but if that's your excuse, then why didn't Levis turn into Joe Burrow at?
I'm just saying. And
I'm just saying the same.
In my opinion,
Look who
he didn't
Burrow
have,
had at LSU.
Okay,
he didn't have the talent
so
versus Joe Burrow had at LSU.
My whole point is here. If you're evaluating talent, right?
Right.
And you know
Max
who's a
Duggan.
sure thing, and you know who's not. Who are you going to spend
Duggan.
more time evaluating? The guy
Max
that you have
Duggan.
more questions about, or the guy you have more answers about?
Max Duggan.
If I know Chris Ballard's putting in the same time for both of them and getting the answers he wants. So I truly believe Ballard,
So then
because he's been on Will Levis train for 2 years, solid, homie, solid. I believe Will Levis is a Colts guy. They're putting out the shit they want you to hear.
But if that's what you were saying, then the bar would be for your number 1 and 2 would be Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, because that's who they spend the most time.
One of those two guys.
I think it's Bryce Young and Will Levis is.
But they know
Colts
Bryce
1 and
isn't
2.
going to be there, so
Doesn't matter.
I think
Bryce is. I view it based overall prospect. Bryce Young's the best quarterback in this draft by leaps and bounds. Then after that, it's everybody else.
So
not by leaps and bounds. He's the best.
I don't think so. Not by leaps and bounds. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's not that far ahead. The reason everyone's having issues with picking a quarterback is because these quarterbacks are close. Not one of them overpowers the other one. So when you say Bryce Young is the best by leaps and bounds, it's insane.
Physical tools. Bryce Young, incredible accurate.
You can't say physical tools and not say Anthony Richardson then.
Correct. I'm not done. Physical tools.
Or Will Levis. You see that
Levis
getting called out for
offer you the exact same thing, but I think Will Levis.
No, they don't. Absolutely not.
Yes, they do, bro. They're both really good in the pocket.
I'm gonna make a hot take right now.
They're both good quality running.
The only quarterback who is not a physical freak in this draft is CJ Stroud.
I disagree. He showed it.
He's not a no.
He doesn't rely on it, but he has shown the ability.
No. I'm not talking about his running ability or his ability to play. I'm talking not athletic ability. Physical ability and athletic ability are two different things. Right?
Like I said, it's a hot
CJ Stroud's the only one that's not a physical freak.
I agree with you there.
Well, like I said, it's a hot take. And I think Will Levis over everybody on the Colts draft board at quarterback. That's just from me doing my personal digging, me asking the people that I've asked, and just with my dad's connections when he was in the journalism game and writing sports for the Colts and shit in the 90s. You know, like me asking around, like for real.
Nice. That.
Trev froze and they came back with the dog.
I think it's just Will Levis.
I do understand kind of where you're coming from, Zach, but me personally, I'm thinking if I'm evaluating somebody, right? And obviously we all think Bryce is up here and everybody else is just a slight tier below regardless
it's
of
marginal.
Yeah. Me, if I have more questions about a guy, I'm going to spend more time evaluating to see if I get questions or if I get answers. And I just feel like with Will Levis, the reason that you spend so much time with him is because you have more questions than answers that you want to know. You want to find out what makes this guy tick, where he's at, what's the questions you have about him. Why are some people so high? Why are some people so low on this guy? And I think that's what builds up the most questions. And then you got a guy who's like Anthony Richardson, who you have questions about because he's only played 13 games and you've only seen so much of him. And obviously you got CJ who could slip, and then Bryce at the top.
I want to cut you off there. I want to say that I disagree with you 100%. I think Zach spent more time on Will Levis, not because he had more questions. It's because he has this. Will Levis is Chris Ballard's guy. It's just the way it's
100%.
It's 100%
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with the way Zach is looking at it.
It makes sense.
Will Levis,
he's been on on the Will Levis train for 2 years. Right. Since Jordan Love got drafted, dude switched his attention. I've heard it every week. Granted, I'm an hour from Kentucky. I've heard it every week. Colts were here with Will Levis. Colts are here, Will Levis. That's going back to before he had the big year. Ballard saw him, was like, this guy's a freak. He's everything Indianapolis and Chris
You
Ballard.
want to know why? You want to know why? Because he's got the physical attributes of an Andrew Luck. Because he's built like Andrew Luck,
and he
doesn't have
freak
he
like
doesn't.
Richardson.
Now stand by. I'm not saying he's got the athleticism and the quarterback talent as Andrew Luck, but he's built.
He's built like
Andrew. Yes,
I agree.
Thank you for clarifying that, because some people, even though we know what you're talking about, would have taken that.
That's why I'm clarifying. I'm not. I wasn't
Yeah.
clarifying that for anybody here because you all knew what I meant. But what I'm
Well,
saying,
I'm not.
He's not Andrew Luck as a quarterback talent, but he's Andrew Luck as a stature, as how he's built.
Yeah. If you put their silhouettes next to each other, they're the same.
Yeah, just without the beard.
Yeah.
But that's where I think Zach is coming from. I think Zach he didn't look into Will Levis more so because he had more questions. He looked into Will Levis more because
I think, like Mel Kiper, I think he's the best quarterback in the draft outside of Bryce Young. And trust me, I hate Will Levis when I went into this. You guys know this because I spent fucking 3 weeks watching his tape and telling you guys he's Carson Wentz 2.0. But then when you looked at it, you see these eerily similar things from his college tape to Carson Wentz's game. But when you also see it, you see that with coaching, the issues that Carson Wentz has, Will Levis won't have because he'll have, in my opinion,
I don't know. I still find that questionable because if you love the guy so much, you wouldn't spend that much time with him.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
If I love the prospect, I'm good.
Exactly what Zach was about to say. Because when Ashley pointed me to Jonathan Taylor, she was the one who pointed me to him that year. I wasn't even looking at him. I was looking at quarterbacks.
Yeah, we had Marlon Mack.
Yeah, and we had Marlon Mack. So I wasn't even thinking running back. And she said,
if I love a guy, I'm going to try and find everything I can about that prospect.
She said, look
into him.
She said, hey, Matt, go look at Jonathan Taylor. And I started watching Jonathan Taylor, and it was all of a sudden I was in love with this guy. And I just kept watching him and watching him and watching him. I didn't stop. It doesn't stop just because you like the guy.
So I will say, just as far as the whole Levis debate, because you said earlier that if CJ and Levis are both on the board, you're still going Levis.
I think Indianapolis is.
I still disagree. Because I'm going to go ahead CJ. But I will admit, lately, even though it might be smoke screens and shit, lately, what I've been seeing about concerns over CJ not calling plays or constantly relying on Ryan Day, whereas Levis is capable of making those pro calls, capable of calling his own offense, understands that raises some concern. I'm not going to lie to you, but just from what's on field and what you can see week in, week out of the past year, 2 years, whatever, it's hard to say you're going to pass over CJ Stroud. I mean, he puts up insane numbers. I understand he's at a better school, better offense. So, when you weigh everything out, but I don't know, man. That's a hard position to be in, almost to the point where it's like you hope CJ is gone just so you're not in that predicament.
Hey, Zach, Jack Hughes just tied it up. It's 1-1.
Hell yeah. Good job.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Go Devils, baby. Let's go.
And that's the thing. I'm not beating my tail, like my chest, saying Will Levis is my quarterback. I don't care. Really, beyond
I can get behind him.
Beyond Bryce Young, it's literally 1A, 1B, 1C. I don't care. I'll be happy with either of the three. But knowing the Colts' tendencies and hearing what Ballard and, Shane and Irsay want. Irsay wants a rookie. He wants a guy like Andrew Luck, built like Andrew Luck. He wants a guy who can be molded. Okay, those are three guys who can be molded. They're three rookies. Then you hear with Shane's success with Herbert, with Phillip Rivers, with Hurts.
I'll take it a step further, and I'll say when Shane said that he wants to throw to score and run to win. I think that alleviates Anthony Richardson in my opinion.
That sounds like Anthony Richardson to me.
No, it does not.
Well, I mean, it does.
He's talking about scheme. He's not talking about quarterbacks, right? So throw to score.
I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about. I watched
to win games.
I watched
Anthony Richardson's not going to throw to score. He's going to run to win.
Yeah, he did throw to score. You better go watch that LSU game. I'm telling you this right now. I watched
one game.
Year. I'm talking about I watched
Richardson-
this guy all year, bro. Don't try and sit here and argue with me on this point, bro. I'm telling you, I watched this guy play all year. Richardson throws to score and he runs to win. That's literally what he does. So you can try and argue with me if you want. I'm a Gators fan.
I mean, the argument would be statistically he doesn't score that much then. He didn't throw a ton of touchdowns.
Exactly. He was running to score touchdowns.
Right.
Well, you said throw to score and run to win. That's what I'm saying. Is that's the counterpoint is that he didn't score very much.
And when we ran the ball, the Gators won.
I don't hold it against Richardson because Richardson's offense was a run-first offense, and he did most of the running.
Exactly.
And the offense that he played in, they weren't disciplined in the passing game. However,
yeah,
Will Levis comes from a pass-disciplined offense. He just has no talent. So really, it's literally they cancel one another out. So they can.
He came from a disciplined offense his junior year. That's
what makes it even more questionable to me in that situation, because it's like if you're looking at talent, if everybody sits here and talks about how Colts don't have that much talent at receiver, we're looking at the Will Levis that everybody says he downplayed, and we're going to bring him back into an offense with receivers that people say downplayed. So we're bringing him right back into the situation where people say he didn't succeed in, which makes no sense to me. So if we're talking about run to win and throw to score, that either sounds like, to me, that sounds like a CJ or Anthony Richardson.
It doesn't sound like an Anthony Richardson to me at all. I do
want to say,
but you're gonna use the whole "I've watched Florida all year" argument, and I see those arguments all the time. So I'll let you go.
I mean, I still believe this. I think the Colts have a preference, and I do personally. This is kind of weird. I think Ballard likes the fact that Levis likes mayo in his coffee because he's a fucking weirdo. Because that reminds him, like,
that's the deciding factor.
That shit is probably what Ballard likes. Those weird kinks that make people all weird. That's probably something Ballard likes. That being said, what Anthony Richardson offers you is something that Will Levis doesn't, and that's a day one run game. Not saying Will Levis can't run. But Richardson offers you a day one NFL run game. Now, where Richardson
game-breaking running
is right. Where Richardson struggles, in my opinion, is the intermediate to short routes. If you ask me, where Levis struggles is his deep ball. Yes, it's pretty, but it's wild. But Levis offers you more. Levis offers you more short and intermediate. And if it's the same terminology and it looks similar to Frank Reich's system, it's a bunch of short intermediate shit.
Yeah,
that's not in with you.
But we're not.
If we're going to do correct, if we're going to do spread it deep, throw to run, throw to score points,
throw to score, run to win.
I fully expect them to either take Richardson and just say, if it's not there, throw it away deep. Or it's, if it reads covered, run. But I personally think Indianapolis is taking Will Levis because how much time they've invested in him. After reading everything I've read.
I just find it tough to think all of that and then to think like how Ballard talks about upside. I mean, I think you either go after an elite passer or the highest upside. I mean,
you also have to remember, we're sitting here arguing as fans, and we don't see exactly what the upside is on any of these guys. You don't, because you watch the tape, you watch the game. That's fine. That's cool. We all do. We're all on the same equal level when it comes to that. But when you're a scout or you're a GM, you're not just looking at those aspects of it. There's more that they're looking into. So they're seeing higher upside in what they're evaluating. What we're evaluating is what we're seeing on YouTube. That's not what they're looking at.
I mean, whether it's YouTube or you go back and watch the games, I mean, you can call it tape, however you want to call it tape. But I mean, when you look at upside, you're looking who's giving you the most.
That's right. If Chris Ballard doesn't see Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, I'm just saying I don't care whichever one, because I'll take either one. I love Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying I don't like Anthony Richardson.
Same,
because I do like Anthony Richardson over Will Levis. So
me too.
That point.
Make that clear. Me too.
I'm not. No. I think our only thing is we're just reading what we hear differently.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just think Indianapolis is in love with Will Levis. and that's going to be their guy,
They
and they
have
will
spent
live
a
and die
lot
on
of time with
that
him.
hill.
It's completely fair, yeah.
And see, just
Now,
like Jordan says here in the comments, just right here. Levis mechanics terrify me. Just wants to rocket it in there and it doesn't layer. That's why I'm passing. Not.
I don't think any of
So
us are passing CJ for him. None of
No,
us.
yeah,
are doing that.
I'm not.
No.
passing
I
him.
think that's where he got the idea from. Is where Zach says if Levis and CJ are on the board at the same time, that the Colts would take Levis. It's just like that's just so questionable for me because it's like if you get that wrong, that is such a bad mess up. Like I just don't understand how that could possibly be the idea. Like if you got CJ, Levis, Richardson, whichever way you have them ordered, and you take Levis at that pick, I just think there's more to say you messed up rather than you tried to hit the upside. I just don't think that's
right. But in my opinion, I think they're love blind on Levis. That's my hot take. That's why I said it's a hot take. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
I really believe that Indianapolis is going to Jeff George the piss out of this.
I gotta keep remembering that you say that's a hot take because it's just like when I hear that, I'm just thinking that's
the best. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna answer this comment real quick. I want to answer this comment real quick because this statement here drives me nuts. 100%. Tez, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming in.
I mean, they both went 6 and 7 or something.
Hold on. He says AR will thrive in this offense more than Levis. I don't have to read anything else in this statement to argue with you. What offense? Shane hasn't said anything about what specific offense we're going to run. Just because he says we're going to throw to score and then run to win doesn't mean he just explained his whole scheme. No one knows what offense we are going to run. This is not Frank's offense. This is Shane's offense. Shane worked with Jalen Hurts. Cool. That's what everybody's living off of, right? But he's also worked with Phillip Rivers, a statue. He's worked with Justin Herbert. Those are 3 different archetype quarterbacks. We have no idea what this offense is going to look like. So when we say one of these quarterbacks fits our offense more than the other, it's a little silly because we don't know what our offense is going to be.
That's fair. That's fair. Fair. I mean, I think it's going to look a little more college-like, if that makes sense. I think it's going to look real college, bubble screens, read option, RPO, traps, zone crap from underneath, and then throwing is all going to be quick. At least the first year is going to look real college-like. And then as they go on, they'll layer more on top of it. But early, it's going to look real NCAA-ish.
I don't know how
the quarterback is.
I don't know how we're going to be a vertical offense. We don't have vertical receivers.
I will say this, but if it's Richardson versus Levis, I think if they go Richardson and he's the guy, it's going to be more run-based, downhill running early on than it will be with Levis. Because I believe with Levis offers you a little bit more throwing the ball versus Richardson, who offers you way more deep and offers you a legit run game from day one, who gives you that Lamar Jackson-esque run game where I can keep it on a read, a QB sweep, whatever it is. I mean, that's just my 2 cents. So if whoever they draft versus if they take CJ, then I believe you're going to get, essentially a pretty true pro traditional quarterback like you have with Herbert.
I don't know what this guy Tez is saying. He's talking about a vertical offense and then taking out the guy who's got the strongest arm in the draft. DeMarco, we can't hear you.
Yeah, bro, you're mine.
There you go. Nope, still can't hear you.
Nope. You're muted?
Nope.
You muted?
Nah. Try and move your mic closer, maybe. No, we can't hear you.
Is your thing plugged in? Your cord plugged in? The TV? Or to the...
It's like I can hear him from a distance, but I can't hear him when he tries to talk. No.
Nah, bro.
He'll be right back. He said fucking trade for Lamar.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Rangers are on a power play.
You must be a Levis guy. Levis ceiling is Ryan Tannehill at best. I mean, that's possible. That's possible. Bro. Ain't got nothing. I mean, that's certainly possible. And Levis or AR could be a bust. It really depends. I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know. That's why I don't want Indy. And I said it's a hot take. So please don't crucify me and think, oh, you're a Levis head. Because I really don't give two shits who it is. I don't care. I'm not invested in it like this. It's not my job. I do this for shits and giggles.
Yeah. What concerns me about people saying that, like Trev says here, Levis ceiling is Matt Stafford, is that Matt Stafford doesn't elevate anyone around him.
No, but Matt Stafford gives you 13 years in the championship. So I'll take
13 years. Matt Stafford got a championship because he had a team around him finally.
But I don't care if that's what it takes. I'll gladly take that.
But that's not what I'm looking for. I mean, I'm looking for a quarterback who's going to take this team, not.
You guys got me now?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, so Matt Stafford did not elevate Detroit ever. So when he went to the Rams, he had this stacked offense and stacked defense to go to the Super Bowl.
And I'm okay building the team like that. Honestly,
I'm not because they traded their whole future.
Right. But honestly, we've had this discussion before, Matt, how I 100% love exactly what the Rams did. The only problem is the Rams overpaid for guys like Ramsey, Stafford, and Donald. Like if you don't overpay for guys like that and you keep people cheap, you can do that all day because, I'll take proven bets over picks 10 out of 10 times. But that's unrealistic.
Right.
Where was I going? Secondly, I don't need this quarterback to be Lord and Savior. He's not Andrew Luck. I don't want him to play like Andrew Luck.
But what I want is someone who can at least elevate the players around them. They don't have to elevate the players to look elite, but at least lead them.
Just give me steady quarterbacking. Give me Jared Goff. Give me average play at best.
That's not steady quarterbacking, bro.
Give me average play at best.
Zach is talking about Detroit Jared Goff, not.
Hold on. Yeah, he had 1 year. That wasn't consistency.
No, but I just want to say about this whole thinking about the quarterback and the offensive scheme. We got to stop talking about this offensive scheme like it's Frank Wright's, like we've already seen it. We haven't seen this scheme that Steichen is going to put in with all of these new coordinators, O-line coach, running back coach. Like all of this is going to be different. We don't know what kind of offense we're going to run. So we need to think about whoever we draft, this offense is going to be tailored to. So whatever they do well is what this offense is going to look like. So it doesn't really matter who we draft. We need to remember this is not going to be a vertical offense. This might not be a run offense. This is going to be a offense that is tailored to the quarterback that will then dictate what we're seeing.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's what we need to remember. Right. So, I mean, even if it is Levis, it may not be a vertical offense because we've obviously all seen that vertical offense might not be something that Will Levis is doing so good rather than be a guy that's being pretty much a point guard and getting the ball to who he needs to get to. Same. And then same thing that if we do draft Anthony Richardson, it's not going to be like what he ran in college where he's just running around and throwing deep balls. Like he needs to learn that in the NFL pros that you got to protect yourself. We're not going to run you every week into cornerbacks and defensive or linebackers and stuff like that and get yourself hurt. And then obviously we have the CJ Stroud option who's going to obviously be a point guard on his own and he's going to get the ball to his playmakers however he can. So the vertical offense thing or whatever we think we've seen before isn't something that we're going to see again.
We get that, man, but his explosive plays weren't just from throwing the ball.
Right. AR's dynamic.
We're not arguing against AR right now at all. What we're saying is everyone keeps talking about who fits this system. No one fits this system at the moment. The system is going to be built around who we draft.
The system has not been created.
If it's AR, it's going to favor what AR does.
As a matter of fact, let's just rewind back a little bit, right? Steichen has worked with Phillip Rivers. He's worked with Justin Herbert.
We said all this when you couldn't hear us.
Oh yeah, my bad. I just see what we're talking about right now, and it's like this offense is going to be tailored to whoever we draft. It's going to have its own basics to the scheme, but it's going to be whoever we draft. That's what it's going to fit. So we just got to remember, like, we're just fans. We can't sit here and think that we know who's going to fit best and what's going to work.
When you have no idea what the offense is going to be.
Exactly. We may all have our own preference, but we got to remember that this offense is going to fit whoever's there.
My preference is that the quarterback starts in 2023 and 2024.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
What?
Yeah, I think whoever we draft, Gardner Minshew will start in the first 4 games.
Yeah,
but they're still going to start in 2023. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, you mean at some point? Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought you meant week 1.
No. Continued starter into the next year.
Yeah. So exactly, like Matt said, whoever finishes the season in 2023 is going to be our 2024 guy. That's the continuous message here.
I'm going to say this is my hot take. I don't think Gardner is going to start the first 4 games if 3 of those 4 games are division games.
Oh,
no division games.
So I think that the rookie could play all year long.
I do too.
If he has a good camp, if he pulls Russell Wilson and comes out and says, "Hey, I know you guys played Matt Flynn like a 3-year, $160 million."
My opinion though is
Seattle,
if we take a guy at 4, he's starting day 1. I'm sorry, you don't take a top 10 player and they don't play.
Well, that's what I would do, but it sounds like
it
depends on the quarterback.
So I
don't think it does. I think if you're a team who desperately needs a quarterback, you clearly don't have a starting quarterback. You have not named one, and you're taking a quarterback top 10. Let's say in this situation, top 5. No, he needs to start. I don't care who it is.
Right.
I don't care.
Unless it's Bryce Young or CJ. I'm starting. Those are the only 2 guys I'm starting.
Pat Mahomes was the number 10 pick. He was in the top 4.
And hold on.
They also had a top 5 offense.
Yeah. And let's not compare that. That's comparing apples to oranges because they had Alex Smith. We don't have Alex Smith. Alex Smith led them to the playoffs for multiple years.
Yep.
We don't have a guy who's done that. So Pat was number 10, but he also had a guy who started ahead of him. He also had Andy Reid. We have a young coach. This young coach needs to start his rookie quarterback. Why? Because that's how they mold. That's how they build chemistry. That's how they, gem together. That's how they gel.
I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. Work with me here. Because this is what I believe. This is what I believe is a real serious option. Unless they get C.J. Stroud. Because in my opinion, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are the only 2 day 1 quarterbacks ready. I think both AR and Will Levis will sit at least 6 games. In those 6 games, I think that they will get every practice rep possible because I don't believe Minshew is going to need all of those. I believe that they will be tutored with one-on-one individually on the side, and they will have their own selective film studies that they're going with. So they will prepare like a starter each and every week.
Listen, if that's the plan,
I believe that's the plan.
If that's the plan at 4, then you don't take a quarterback. You take Will Anderson.
Again, you have to.
I'm sorry, because no, you don't. No, you don't. Because
you have to.
No.
When are you going to be able to go get a guy that high again?
If you take a quarterback at number 4 and you plan to sit him for at least a month or a month and a half, you can take Hendon Hooker in the second and let him sit for a month and a half. You're going to get the same production later on because he's hurt anyway.
I agree with Zach here. I think
it's nonsense. I think it's ridiculous.
Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, I think they're going to sit for 4 to 6 games.
Look at how Ballard and
CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud is going to come in and compete from day.
I don't care how they've operated before. I think that is the dumbest thing when you don't have a solidified quarterback
Ballard
right now.
Butthole operates like that at all times.
I don't.
To me, he's Mr. Safe.
But I get it. I just think it's the most retarded thing. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree.
I mean, I get you guys are saying that it's most likely going to happen. All I'm saying is I fucking disagree with it 100%. I think it's the dumbest thing that the Colts could do.
Right. It's going to end up with I mean, the only thing that it's not going to is if Steichen says, "Yo, hey, I'm comfortable with the rookie starting. Let's play him." But I also think that those first 4 games, unless they're all divisional games, personally, I think the Colts are punting on this season anyway. I don't think it comes down to record. I don't think they give 2 shits about wins and losses. It's about how well that rookie performs. And that's it.
No. I think nobody cares about the how the season goes except for Jim Irsay. So that's why I say 4 to 6. So I think depending on how ready this rookie will be able to go, I like Chris Ballard said, Gardner Minshew is coming in to compete. Those were his key words. It was not to bridge a quarterback in. It was to compete. So whoever we're starting is coming in to compete from day one. That's why I think 4 to 6 games is the limit there, and it's just for a rookie to be ready to play.
But then that goes against everything, because if you're telling me we're sitting at 4, let's say we bring in Gardner Minshew, we say he's here to compete.
Yep.
But then you draft a quarterback at 4, that's retarded.
That's exactly what Indianapolis is doing, bro.
But hold on. I mean, you could say what you want. I mean, that is the dumbest shit ever.
It's exactly
what it is. Think about it smart. You just wasted a 4th round pick. What if we draft Will Levis and Gardner Minshew beats his ass out and starts the whole season? He becomes our starter. We just wasted a 4th round pick. We could have gotten somebody more important. That is a dumb way to
with a redshirt year.
No, but that's why I say that's another reason why I say that.
That's different. A redshirt season is different than bringing in a free agent to compete. That's 2 different totally things.
That's why I said he's coming in to compete, and the fact that if he were to beat out that quarterback, that's why I said Ballard's job depends on who he drafts at quarterback.
Right.
If he drafts a quarterback and it takes him a full season to become a starter, Ballard's gone. That means he got it wrong. So that's why I'm saying 4 to 6 games, literally just to learn the offense, learn the verbiage, what's your calls, and then boom, like we can go 2-2, take over, and that gives us the leeway to go ahead and try and run and take that division.
Trev. There is no system. There's no system.
Well, he knows the offense.
No, we don't have an offense.
We just haven't seen.
No, so
now we're contradicting ourselves.
No. I'm not contradicting us. I'm saying Gardner has more of an idea of what Steichen is going to call or want to see than us. We have no idea. He knows. Him and Gardner can already be on a page of
Gardner knows the base of the offense.
Yeah, like remember when we did this in Philly? This is kind of what we're going to look like here.
This is what I want.
We're adding this to this. We're adding this shake route to this. We're adding this slant here. We're going to run the ball off this call.
But the personal details to that offense, he won't know until we get the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
It all makes zero sense to do. When you're drafting a quarterback top 5, it still makes 0 sense to sit the guy.
I gotta disagree with you, bro.
I disagree because I'm old school in that.
I just think
old school in what? Old school historically, every top 5 quarterback starts from day 1 except for Justin Herbert, which was a top 6.
But tell me how many of those guys that come in and they make that pick, how many are regular starters? How many work?
All of them.
No.
Then name me one who was not a regular starter.
Name me all of them that were.
Sanchez was trash.
And he was a regular starter.
Zach Wilson.
And hold on.
Trey Lance hasn't worked.
Hold on. You said Mark Sanchez was trash. Took Jets to the playoffs.
No, he didn't. That defense did. Come on, bro.
He was
a game. Matt, don't do this, bro.
Y'all are green wrist, red wrist. I mean,
come on, bro.
We could even say
even his linebacker, Bart Scott, is on TV all the time on Get Up talking about, we had Mark Sandbag that sit there and all he had to do was just sit there and don't fuck up the game. And
that's fine. And he didn't. And he still won.
Yeah, but that's not good. That's just holding the plate so somebody else can take it from you. Like, come on, Matt. You got to understand this, bro. It's like you just giving a little bit of time to that guy to get it right, make sure it's ready, and then you put him out on the field. You don't want to draft this guy early and then just throw him to the wolves.
Not top 5.
Bro, that's how you kill someone's confidence, bro.
You're paying this dude millions. You're paying this dude fucking
millions. It doesn't matter, but you want to get it right. Like Chris Ballard says all the time,
homie.
we got to get it right. I understand what you're saying. You want this guy to come in, but that's the same Colts fan thinking of we got to have a savior. We don't want this guy to come in thinking he has to be a savior because look at
But that's not what you. But that's not what you fucking expect year one. That's what I'm saying. You start the guy for development. He doesn't get those reps in practice. He gets them right, but they're not the same reps as game time. You wasted 6 weeks of development that he could have gotten in game time. Hold on, because you're not expecting to win the division. You're not expecting this guy to be the savior. So if that's the case, you start him so he gets that development.
No, but see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I understand your point,
slower.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. I understand your point, though. But the problem is I'm not saying
there's no problem.
He's sitting there. He's sitting there not getting reps. I'm saying when he's out there sitting, he's sitting to develop to be the starter.
But
not just sitting to watch.
You're not fucking developing if you're not getting that game time presence.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why you split the reps instead of doing what a normal backup would do, being 80-20% between
practice reps.
But that's my argument. Practice reps are not the same as games. So if you split 50-50 in practice, it's still not the same as getting game time reps. If you are not going into the season expecting to win the division or make the playoffs, you give this guy every single game to develop.
But why not use it as a red shirt and get him mentally right?
Because the red shirt mental reps aren't shit.
But out of 17 games, he's still going to play 11 to 13 of those games. Yeah. He's still going to play. That is a lot. That is plenty of games.
Everybody keeps sitting here naming Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and dudes that were just
they were all trash because they got thrown to the wolves.
Okay, and that's fine, but you still got to do it.
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying.
Peyton Manning was trash year one. That is fact.
Come on, man. You named him.
No. Chill. No, it's not. Chill. Oh, Josh Rosen was traded after his rookie season.
Look at how Kenny Pickett.
So was it Peyton fucking Manning.
Look at how Kenny Pickett was developed. I truly believe that's the new way and age of how NFL quarterbacks are developed.
Everybody wants this guy to the first game he plays to throw fucking 17,000 touchdowns in that first game. It's not going to happen.
No,
we're not expecting him to go.
We don't expect that.
That's what everybody wants.
Right.
No, we want him to properly not just get thrown into it and say, there you go. He sees 4 games of Gardner Minshew. What to do, what not to do wrong.
And Gardner Minshew is going to show him what not to do every single time. We don't have the quarterback.
Then that's perfectly fine.
But
we don't have the quarterback. We do not have the.
So if that's the case, then you don't sign Minshew. If that's the case, you don't sign Minshew. And you let Nick Foles do that shit for 2 games. So now you let him come in.
So now you don't start either of them. You start the fucking rookie because Gardner Minshew is not the guy for the fucking rookie to sit behind and learn.
No, that's the perfect guy to learn from.
Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith, the guy who did elevate his team. A guy who was a solid starter.
Team, no, he was just a stable.
Oh my God!
Piece.
See, no, now you guys are bullshitting. Now you guys
The way Kenny Pickett was developed is how I think.
I heard you. I heard you. I'm done with the debate because clearly it's fucking insane to think that a rookie needs to go ahead and start to get the actual fucking reps to develop.
No, we're not saying it's crazy, bro. I'm saying you split it evenly to where this guy can see what it looks like versus what it shouldn't. And then boom, if you want to go 4 games out of him, then that's fine.
I said I'm done. I'm done with that. But who did Stafford elevate? Who? No one in Detroit because they didn't make the playoffs. They made the playoffs once when he had Calvin Johnson and he had one guy to launch the ball to. Matthew Stafford didn't elevate anybody.
The Lions didn't draft anybody to help.
I'm answering Trev's question, not yours. This is a conversation.
You can't get mad, bro, and cut off everybody else for your argument, bro.
That's all you've been doing this whole time is cutting me off.
No, because you're the only one upset that we're sitting here saying that the guy can sit. You're saying it's stupid instead of just hearing the argument as for what it is.
I did hear the argument, and I don't agree with it.
I think it's just a different opinion that you should be open to because of the fact that everybody doesn't need to start just because they're top 5. That just doesn't have to be the way. Because you can't really name too many that came in top 5 and just were ready to go.
Yeah, unless
There's
you're
not too
generational,
many.
I'm not starting you week 1.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, just be more open to it. I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, we don't want to throw the rookie to the wolves. If you can look back and see every top 5 that sat there and got thrown to the wolves, how many worked? And it's not many.
I mean, like truly, like generational quarterbacks, most don't start week 1. Those guys that are freaks, like the Mannings, hell, you could even say the Bradys, the Trevor Lawrences, like Mahomes.
Trevor Lawrence, it took Trevor Lawrence how many years?
It took him a whole year. The whole first year I throw out because it was garbage. Last year he was incredible with proper coaching.
He started that year.
He
both.
did start.
He didn't look good the first.
And I did not say the rookie had to look good. That is my point.
Yeah, and that's why I said I get what you're saying.
The issue is that these quarterbacks, they come in, they play year 1 as a rookie, and if they look bad, they get thrown to the fucking side and they're trash. That's the problem with the NFL today.
The GM and the regime.
Right. And everybody's giving me examples from the New York Jets. The New York Jets have trash. They've always been trash.
Okay, so my thing is Matt. So look right here, like right, you liked Josh Rosen.
I did.
And you've said multiple times that he was treated unfairly.
Yes.
So say we come out and we draft Levis or Richardson, whoever, and they come out and their rookie season is just complete trash. Chris Ballard gets canned.
That's
because
fine.
This rookie quarterback is canned. Now this new GM comes in and he says, "Oh, this guy was trash. I didn't draft this fucking guy. Let me go get Caleb Williams or Drake May." That's another quarterback that just gets thrown out because a GM got fired because he couldn't develop.
And that's a dumb situation.
But that's what's going to happen.
That's the business of the NFL.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen.
And that's not how it fucking should, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But that's what we're arguing. That's why we're saying
you start the rookie in the idea that he's not going to be good his first year, but those reps are important.
So I
don't disagree with that.
Okay, so
I do not think Chris Ballard should be fired if this quarterback has a bad first year.
Okay. If that's what the opinion is, if Jim Irsay agrees with your thought there, then I'm totally with you, bro. But there's just no chance in my mind, like 0% chance that if this rookie starts week 1 and he is just not good in his rookie season, regardless of what happens in year 2, I just do not think Ballard keeps his job.
No, this is it. This is the make or break year for Ballard. That's why I personally believe.
But you can't put that on him on a rookie quarterback. You can't.
No, you can't
be like,
absolutely not. It's unfair.
I'm not trying to put it on him. I'm just putting it on the business of the NFL.
Right. It's unfair, but that's also the unfair reality of the NFL.
Absolutely. And so it's like, I don't want to say I agree to disagree with you. I agree with your point as long as Ballard's not the one who has to take the fold of this. I just think whichever quarterback he drafts, depending on what happens, like how we've all sat here and said 6 to 8 games is about our win margin. If we don't hit in between that mark with this quarterback, I think that's the difference between Ballard losing his job or not.
Right.
That's just our only differential there, Matt, I would say.
Anything less than 6 games, I think Ballard is canned.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
The only way he's not canned is if the rookie comes in after sitting or playing and gets hot and shows massive improvements. Yep. And if he shows the quality improvements like Kenny Pickett did, because this is where I was trying to go with it, and he shows the quality improvements like Kenny Pickett did in the second half of the year where he's able to keep his job, and then they build upon it by adding talent to the Colts roster and adding weapons, then I think we're set. But anything less, and Richardson, Stroud, whoever it is, Levis, all of them, they look meh, then I really do believe it could be, hey, we got another 1-year rental, and next year we're going to, go get Drake or go get Caleb Williams or go sign another fucking vet from another team until the new GM gets the guy he likes. Like, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You can't sit a rookie a whole year unless that GM has security from security from the owner saying he can sit a whole year because I'm not going to fire him. Now, I personally believe Ballard has that security because Irsay's pretty much done said he's going to get his 3 years. This is a 3-year project.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, I personally think that they could sit this rookie a whole year. Why? I don't know.
I see. Yeah, with that part, I don't think sitting them a whole year is where I past 6 games.
I think Ballard's back regardless. He's not going anywhere. Not till that contract runs out. Irsay's too damn cheap after firing Frank. He probably doesn't have the money to do all that.
Come on, Matt.
Oh, Devils are tied. My bad.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I just want to know, like, is that what you're thinking? You're thinking that this rookie starts day one and Ballard is safe regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I from a coach aspect, man. If I'm Shane, I want to start the guy, and it's just because of the coach mindset that I have that I want to develop him on field. Practice reps aren't the same as they are game reps, and I think quarterbacks should be able to, and Zach Wilson is one of those guys that should have never been a starter from day one. No matter where he was picked, everybody knew that. And that might be the same with Will and AR. I think Will Levis and AR could both start from day one and probably develop faster. Zach Wilson should not have. Josh Rosen should have never been traded, in my opinion. That whole team was trash. But that's just me, man. From the coach aspect, man, when I want to develop a guy, I'm going to spend one-on-one time with him, but he's going to get reps in game. And the worst part about being a quarterback is it's not a rotational position.
Real quick.
It's not like wide receiver. It's not like DB. It's not like running back, defensive line, offensive line. Any of these other positions can be rotational for these guys to get in-game reps. A backup quarterback does not get in-game reps unless the starting quarterback gets hurt.
Absolutely. Real quick, why do you believe that AR or Will be ready day one and Josh Rosen was not?
No, Josh Rosen was ready day one. I think Zach
Wilson. My bad. Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson was a pro day freak. I think he just had a good pro day. He upped his stock on pro day, but I don't think Zach Wilson was ever that good. I don't think he had the maturity to be able to start in the NFL.
I got you.
Like personality wise, I just don't see it. When I see it with AR and Will Levis, I think they have the maturity. I think if it's between either of the two, Will Levis, I could see him sitting.
That's fair.
See, I think both Levis and AR need to sit because I believe the flaws that they have, you can coach, and the only way to properly coach them is to get the reps.
Trev, I know you done walking your dogs, man. Hop back on here, man. Stop commenting. Hop back on here, bro.
To focus on specifically fixing those areas first before they play in game action. So that's my thinking.
Me seeing it be able to happen is one thing. Me agreeing with it happening is a different thing. I don't agree
because if you're going, my opinion, if you're going to take AR,
I got it. Go ahead, keep going.
If you're going to if you're sending me a link, okay, cool. If you're going to take AR, he sits because there's some things in his throwing motion he needs to clean up. There's some things, however they want to coach some things, whether it's terminology, whatever it might be, they need to clean up. Same thing with Levis. Footwork for Levis. Again, terminology. Fine-tuning some things before he gets those actual game reps would help him and this or that. That's why I'm not opposed. I personally believe very old school NFL. Man, you draft the guy, he doesn't even play for the first year. The first year is essentially a redshirt year. Because, you got that fifth year. So regardless, whether you like the guy or not, he can essentially study film for a whole year and learn that way, if he learns that way. That's why I'm not.
Truly, in your heart of hearts, do you believe do you think that you would want to draft a quarterback at number 4 and have them sit all year and watch Mania, regardless of what we do in the draft?
Me personally, in my heart of hearts, if I was GM and those shoes were on me, I have no problem doing it. Because what's one more year going to do? Especially, what's one more year going to do when we're going to suck? But we're going to have a tons amount of cap space that next year. And I already have my quarterback figured out. And I can deal with the growing pains on the field because mentally he already will know what to do. And then I can use that pick next year to go get another stud at another area of need, at another position of need or a want, and make my team better that way. That's why I have no problem sitting a guy. And if a team wants to, hey, we'll trade you, then I'm taking the ransom for picks that I'm going to get for it. And I'm going to use those picks to essentially stack the monster. That's why outside of Bryce Young, there is no quarterback in my mind who I say they have to be a day one starter. Because I'd have no problem sitting CJ for 4 games.
Yeah, see that's tough for me. I only disagree because I guess if you're Ballard and you get reassurance from Irsay that hey, this year isn't depending on QB or whatever,
Right.
then I could agree. But me personally, I just think that I just feel like his job is dependent upon
right
who he takes at 4. So like Matt has said, if we're willing to sit a quarterback and we were to take a Will Anderson and then draft Hendon Hooker in the 2nd round or something like that, or jump back into the 1st to try and take him, then I would completely agree. But I truly believe in my heart of heart, I think his job is completely dependent upon
and that's fair.
who we draft at quarterback and how they perform, how this team performs. Because
that's fair.
We do not win more than 4 games if Irsay does not see that improvement, regardless of what it be. If we win 4 games but our defense holds every team to 15 points, then I would completely understand. But I just think that however this team performs, if we don't get more than 4 wins, Irsay is going to call that a wash.
That's fair.
I think
in today's NFL, your 1st round picks you have to get immediate returns on in some way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
So I understand that trend, but I'm also all for bucking that trend and saying, yeah, that's what everyone else does, but here this is how we're going to do it because we talk about culture and setting a precedent.
Yes.
So for me, I have no problem sitting a rookie.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, man? Hey.
What up?
I have no problem sitting a rookie, whoever it is, 1 full year and allowing them to develop. If I'm assured that my job is still sitting there on the table. Now, if it's one of those things where you draft a guy, you have to have success with this guy, and anything more than 4 wins, like you're saying, then yeah, I'm gonna be, hey, this is the fucker I'm getting. This is the dude. He's day one, and you better go get me 6 fucking wins because if I'm getting fired, everyone here's getting fired, and I'm pissed about it. I'm beating on the table. That's just
real quick. Just want to welcome our first guest. This was kind of thing that just happened real quick. Welcome Jordan Kibbe to the show. Appreciate you for coming on. We've been running a little rather longer than we normally do, so I think this has been really getting some hot topics, some debates here. We were just going over what Zach was saying. He was saying that Chris Ballard should feel like he is safe if this is where we're heading, regardless of what we do with the rookie quarterback. So Zach, I just want to say to answer that to you, I think that if he's gotten the go ahead to just do what he wants to do in that situation. And if coach feels like the quarterback is ready or not, if he's completely safe on that quarterback, then I completely agree. Me personally, I don't think he's safe. That's exactly why I would do what I would, whether it be the 4 to 6 games. But that's just how I'm feeling there. But to your point, if Ballard is safe and we're setting the precedent and this is how the Colts are going to operate, then I completely agree. You sit that rookie for the time that you need to, and just hope it doesn't turn into a Trey Lance or a Jordan Love situation. But Jordan, since you're new to the show, if Matt, if it's cool with you, you want to go ahead and chime in on this situation? What are you thinking at quarterback? How long do you think they should sit? When would you start them? Who would you take?
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely think it's a huge debate always every year. I think it comes into question with every rookie quarterback that comes in the league. I don't think there's ever really a clear cut unless it is those guys that were like a Peyton, like an Andrew, like a Trevor, a John Elway, those guys who were the clear cut number ones. You're usually always like the situation with Trevor, it was different. They didn't even sign anybody that year. The year they were going to draft him, they didn't sign like a Gardner. So I get the arguments both sides. I mean, I'm cool with either or. If we know Ballard is safe, if Ballard is safe and confident that he knows he's good, absolutely, let's throw him out there. Because Matt is 100% right. You're never going to get any better reps than in-game reps. But also, I think if we're saying, hey, we got to contend for a playoff spot, and we're saying, hey, we got to throw this rookie out there, is that the smartest move? I don't know. But then I'm also definitely in agreement with Zach where if it's a Bryce or a CJ, I'm not even questioning it. They're our starter day one. And even Levis has gotten to that point where, I mean, I agree with Zach. I mean, I think everyone knows my opinions. I'm not a Levis guy either, but I do think he's also got the potential to go out there and be a day one. Truly the only quarterback in this draft that I would be scared to say start day one is AR, just because he's so raw.
That's fair.
Do you think now this is where I get my issue because I think AR has the higher ceiling, but I also think he's the hardest quarterback to develop because he comes from an offense that is so run heavy and passing wise at Florida, at least in my opinion, they were so undisciplined in their routes that teaching a pro offense to him is going to take a minimum of a year to a year, really a year and an off season to truly see the dividends on a guy like AR versus Levis, who two NFL offensive coordinators as his coordinator in college. And while he shit the bed throwing the ball essentially deep, he's going to be able to pick up the terminology faster. So in that aspect, you can work the kinks out with game reps. But I don't believe his ceiling is higher. Is that a fair assessment?
The only thing I would argue there, though, is, and especially I think now that teams have seen it, it's the same question that was with Lamar Jackson. That's why he's dropped so low the night he was drafted. Everyone didn't know what could he do. But then everyone's seen, oh, we draft this guy, and immediately they were a playoff contender, and especially one of the toughest divisions in football. So, I mean, yeah, it's a question, especially because you could argue Lamar was more developed. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, but I think both assessments are fair. Would be where I would go with that.
See, in my opinion there, I think regardless of who you draft, I don't think like it's normal. Like, because like if you think about a normal situation, a backup quarterback is going to get like 20% of the reps, 20% of reps. And I think in this situation, when you're trying to work in a rookie, just like Matt had the concern about like if you draft a guy day one, he needs to be your starter day one. Or I mean, top 10, he needs to.
Yeah, I was going to say not day one, not day one.
I'm at top 10.
Anywhere after 10, I'm like, okay, he can go ahead and sit.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think that when you draft a guy in that top 10, just like Matt was saying, his concern was not starting. I think from that jump, your starting reps, instead of it being like an 80-20 or a 70-30 between rookie versus whoever's there, I think it needs to be a 50-50 rep the entire way. So I think that was the whole point of Chris Ballard saying this guy is coming in to compete. So both of these guys are getting 50-50 reps. We're seeing both of them with starters, with backups. And we're seeing this all the way from April to September. So we should know by September comes, we should know who our starter is, or we should know if it's even 50-50.
I think we'll know
50-50, then I think our rookie needs to be that starter and he could be able to take over from that day one.
I think we'll know by week 2 of the preseason who our starter is going to be.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I think
that's who we'll know. So, and that's going to be like mid-August. I think we'll know exactly who.
Yeah.
So, Matt, you're pretty much agreeing, right? That should be the 50-50 so you know what it's looking like.
I was never arguing that point.
No, I didn't mean you were arguing it. I'm just saying, like, I think the 50-50 reps, so you're seeing
100%.
Who's not. So by the time you get to camp, you should know who's ahead and who's not.
We also got to look at it like this because we have 4 quarterbacks that are off the fucking roster. If you think we take a quarterback in the draft, we're going to have 4 quarterbacks. 4, yeah.
Yeah, Foles is still on the team.
Oh, we got 3 right now. I'm tripping. I'm tripping.
Yeah, that's where it starts to become a
I
little.
keep forgetting Nick
what if
Foles is on the roster.
Someone's gonna get cut real quick,
Jordan, go ahead.
and I think it's gonna be Nick.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
I
real
was
quick. Just real quick. I actually don't think we announce, depending on who the opponent is. Say we get another season where we start out with the division rival as week 1.
Sounds
There's
like 99% of the time.
There's 100% chance that we hide the hell out of that, or we say, "Oh, it's Gardner all day," and then boom, it's the rookie going out there getting the snaps, just like they're pulling like they did with Matt Ryan versus the Raiders, where no one had a fucking clue that he was even going to go, and then all of a sudden, here he is. So
that's a valid point.
Now another spinoff to that. Do the Colts fuck around and take Hendon Hooker later in the first? Do they trade back up? Do they trade back up and take Hooker?
Actually, as a matter of fact, I was gonna ask that real quick to Jordan, but I just want to ask, like, Jordan, like, if we do go quarterback or if not, what was your suggestion on that 35th pick, since you were in the comments and didn't get a say there on whether if you are taking quarterback, if you're in on that at 35, or if you're not on that at 35?
No, just what I threw out there, just because we did interview him as the top prospect visit, and because he's a tweener. I was talking about Brian Branch, because teams are
he's a
wondering.
bum.
I don't think he's a bum. I completely disagree.
Fair.
I completely think this dude is kind of the new NFL weapon, but they're still worried because he's not a true corner, but he's not a true safety. So I just think he's one of those players. But getting to Hendon Hooker, I think people are really starting to see what I think I've been thinking of, is that this dude, if he did not get hurt, if he does not tear his ACL,
he's my number 1 if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
He was my number. He's still my number 3, because the top 2 I think have solidified themselves as the top 2 through the process. But he's number 3, but he's in question, and you're okay as a top 5 pick. But I think because he's interviewing so well, I mean, he literally got invited to the Reese Senior Bowl, and they don't ever invite injured quarterbacks, but they invited this guy because he is that good. And he is starting to get the talks that this dude might go in. There's a possibility he could go in the top 15, just because teams are going to be scared and be like, we don't want to verse this dude. And yes, he's 30 years old. He's coming from a spread offense, or he's 25 years old, whatever.
I was about to say.
He's like 27, dude.
Well, because
like 25, I think.
He's older, but Joe Burrow was older too.
Right.
All these, I don't think age can even be a question when you look at talent, and he's one of the most talented quarterbacks. So
do you think the system that he comes from hurts him though? Because it's a veer and shoot offense. It's literally a combination of 2 offenses that I don't even think they've ever ran before. Like,
that's the only question people are having on him, I think, right now, is the system he came from, the run and gun shoot offense where it's spread, you're throwing deep all the time. That's the one question, is can he actually perform in a pro style offense? But
do you truly believe that hurts him?
No, not at all.
Decision making, he's cat quick, man.
Yeah,
he's got the mental.
But that's my worry though. That quick decision making in the NFL, a lot of times you don't get your first read. If you got a smart defender, like if you listen to the Pat McAfee show, you get
is Jordan trying to come in here twice?
No, I think he's just putting on his headphones or something. You guys hear yeah, it's pretty quiet, but we can hear you.
I can turn up.
Okay, there we go.
Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Can y'all hear me?
A lot of times, yeah, we can hear you clear. A lot of times, NFL's defenses want to take your first read away, and that's my worry. When you can't make that quick decision, are you able to get to your second, your third, your fourth read, and sometimes back to your first? And I think that's the problem with that quick offense. That's my worry with the Hendon Hooker offense and stuff. I don't think with that. Hey, Trev, man, stop coming and get back in here. Just get in.
I don't want to hate on somebody about their quick decision, because a lot of times the quick decisions could be how quick they move off of that first read at the same time. So
absolutely.
It's one of those things where he makes quick reads. Mm-hmm. Is a good way to put it. He could read whether that first look's going to be there or not.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Trev's not going to come back in. Wifey got mad at him.
I know.
I think mine's asleep. So
Mine just went to bed. So
I don't know how mine's asleep. I'm over here yelling.
Mine's is still at work, so we'll see.
Yeah, I know it's early for you. It's late for me. It's almost like 10 o'clock here.
Oh, it's 11 here, man.
7:30. 7:30.
It's 11:30 here.
I know my kid's probably going nuts.
I still got this Devils game on, man. It's still tied.
Nah, ain't no bedtime, Trev. You the man of the house, man. Let her know.
I know, right? Put your pants on, bud.
Put your pants on. Put your foot down. So
No,
Jordan, say we do go quarterback. Who do you got at 35? We all have kind of like separated our preference out of guard and corner. I don't know if you have any difference there.
Hold on, I do want to say it's guard and corner for me, but if Kincaid is there, I'm taking him.
Yeah, I mean that was the other two that we had. So Matt did a mock draft. He had Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. Damon had Jamar Gibbs, running back out of Alabama. So two very versatile guys where you're taking best player available because they are there. And,
yeah.
I mean, it's just too tough to pass on. What you got at 35, I mean, regardless if it's guard or corner, if you had a position there.
Well, I will say I agreed with Matt heavily. I do not want a fucking running back at the second round. If we're going offense, give me an actual playmaker at the receiver or tight end position, and honestly, tight end is one of those things where, because we look at what Shane has done, he's always had success with multiple tight ends, and we still don't know about Jelani. Yes, we're saying Jelani's our guy, but there's still question marks. We don't know if he's going to be that guy. So yes, if a Dalton Kincaid or one of those guys are there, absolutely, let's grab them. And that's where I've been, is I think, honestly, I'm more offensive playmaker, especially because the receiver class is getting a lot of questions. So there's a possibility one of those top guys, even say a Quentin Johnston from TCU, there's a possibility he could fall out of the first round. Are we really going to say we're not going to take a risk on him in the second round? Like, are we really going to say?
I do think he's a second round guy over a first anyway. So if he is a second, I'm taking him.
Yeah, no, because really, honestly, when I look at this receiver class, there's only two receivers I see as being first rounders, and that's JSN and Zay Flowers. And then it's just a bunch of question marks. So
I'm not big on Njigba because he's the worst out of the three that come out of Ohio State. And they talk about he's like, got the route running PhD.
Me personally, I'm not high on any receiver first round guys. That's why my favorites are Zay Flowers or Tank Dell, two guys that I think should be second round receivers, kind of like a Justin Jefferson, a AJ Brown, a Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah.
Those are personally why I think those guys are second round picks instead of forcing that first round pick to say we, took a guy.
To me, in the second round, I'm going O-line just because I played it. My God, that's my favorite position to watch.
Yeah.
Like, give me a left guard, give me a center, give me a guy who can do both. I don't care, and protect the quarterback because I don't want another Andrew Luck retiring at 30.
That's why I've also looked at the visits, and one of my favorite players they've also, especially say if we get a CJ Stroud, because we talked about whoever we draft at quarterback is who we should kind of layer our picks after that as. Why not a DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State? The dude's an athletic.
Yeah.
I think do you not have him as a first round draft pick? Because I didn't have him in the second.
He's my top tackle.
I thought he would go first round.
He's 100. The tackles are really good, and I think they're going to run. But I think he has a potential to fall. There's a potential where someone's going to fall. Because here's the thing: there's so much talent at edge. There's talent at corner. There's talent at the other key positions that where teams are going to want to grab those. So you're going to see guys like this who fall into that second and third round just because the depth at other position, at the other key positions that we talk about, they're going to take a priority.
Now, crazy ass idea. DeMarco absolutely loves this guy from Pitt. DeMarco, what's his name?
Kalijah
Cansey. Bro's a freak. If he's there in the second round, even though we don't need defensive line help, do you take him? Because I would like that. Like, I'd sell my left nut.
I get what you're saying because the comparisons, they're easy to give, is that he's got the potential to be he's the next be Aaron Donald because he's coming from the same school. He's a smaller sized guy, but I I truly think we're going to bulk up the offense. I mean, our offense was abysmal. Our defense kept us in games, and I'm sorry, we got Buck and Grove that I can't see it to where they say, hey, we want to take, especially when we just took 2 defensive tackles in the last year's draft.
And then late picks.
But then we signed Taven Bryan as well in free agency. So our depth, you don't need 6 guys. I get why. Granted, I think it'd be stupid if Kalijah Cansey's in the second round. There's a GM getting fired if that dude's.
I was just about to say I'd cut one of those D tackles from next year within the quickness, and I'd take Kalijah Cansey. I personally think he's an Aaron Donald 2.0. I
agree.
Damn
I
good.
think the guy's lead. I mean, even though how much I like him, I still think I have guard and corner rated higher depending on who you draft, just like we discussed. If you take Anthony Richardson, I'm going to go corner round 2. If you take a CJ Stroud or Will Levis, I'm taking a guard at 35 personally. It's tough to say exactly, but I'm going to have to pick up my wife here, guys, soon. So I'm going to have to get out of here. I hate that I got to do this as Jordan Gibby's having on here for the first time. But I'm going to have to get out of here soon, guys.
Hey, so I'm gonna send an invite to Jordan for our draft night episode if he's available on Thursday night. Since we're gonna go live, since we're gonna go live on Thursday, we're gonna go ahead and invite Jordan since we didn't invite Jordan today until later.
Hey, awesome. real quick, there was one name that you and DeMarco and Matt, you guys said, who I think could easily be available because of his knee injury. Andrew Voorhees. That is a.
But is he worth the second round pick?
No. He's not worth a second anymore just because of the injury and because you know, Zach, you got to hook and pull at that guard position.
Yeah.
And so I think personally, I just think a 4th round, if he's there in the 5th, that is an absolute steal. And if you get this guy healthy, I mean, I think he can be up there with Osiris Torrance.
Is he as good as my guy from TCU?
Yes, he's better than Steve. Yeah. I'd put him over Steve Avila if he doesn't get hurt. And I think he's right up there with Torrance. And I'm a Gator guy. So if I got him right up there with Torrance, I'm telling you, I just think him, it's Osiris Torrance, Schmitz from Minnesota, and Voorhees. I just think maybe those guys are a little bit better in the run game, but I think pass blocking wise, I don't think you get much better than Voorhees.
Yeah, the one thing Voorhees needs to work on is going straight up and blocking in the run game. That's about it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's about it. I think his pass blocking is elite.
Yeah, I just like I was trying to state during that mock draft, especially when you get in the 5th round, you're not really looking at who's a starter. You're looking at the guys. So we're throwing out a Blackman and a Joseph because you are seriously looking at these guys who have just been their talent. The talent is so crazy that you got to take that risk because these are the guys who could be the foundation. So if you got guys who have this talent and this production, but they're falling for some reason, you got to almost take the risk. That's where you can take the risk in the picks.
But all right, guys, I'm gonna get off here for the night. Yeah. I wish I didn't have to leave on this night because we've been in 2 hours, 30 minutes.
I think it's time for all of us to go.
But I gotta go pick up my wife, man. If y'all still on by the time I get back, I might hop back in.
No, we about to head out, man.
All right, everybody, we'll see y'all for draft Thursday night. Appreciate y'all. Go Colts.
Go Colts. Hey, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get out of here since, DeMarco's got to go, and we've definitely been on here for 2.5 hours. We're going to go ahead and bring Jordan on Thursday. Thursday, we're going to do a nice special for everybody. So while we're live.
How long Thursday?
Huh?
Because, how long Thursday? Because I got to work Friday. I'm an old man. So
hey, as long as you can stay on, man, because I got to work Friday too, man. All right.
What time are we thinking for Thursday? We going through the whole draft, or
I was thinking right before the draft started. So right before the draft starts, you come on that 5-10 minutes, discuss a few things, and then because what time's the draft start? Like 8
o'clock.
I want to say, is it 7? It might be 7 my time though.
Where you at? Iowa?
Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, I think
is that Central time?
Yeah,
I'm Central.
Yeah, that's my time too. So yeah, we'll probably be on about 6:50, 6:55, maybe 7 o'clock, right on the dot. We'll start right when that first Carolina goes on the clock. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll do that, and then we'll go as long as we can because I don't know if I'm gonna stay up till midnight while all these teams are freaking picking. That's crazy.
Yeah,
at least to go till the Colts pick, and then how ever longer we want to go after that.
Absolutely.
So, but you're definitely invited. We'll definitely have you on that night.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming on. Find someone else.
Hey,
We're gonna get like more than just Jordan. We're gonna find ask Chad, see if he wants to get on.
If I can, I don't know if StreamYard will let me.
I don't know. I thought you get like up to 10 people on this.
I gotta see. I cut down that. All right, I cut that down.
Nice. All right.
I was paying money for that.
Oh, that's nuts. Okay, heard that.
But yeah, I'll go check and see how many people I can bring on, and then we'll see if we can bring Chad on too.
All right, cool.
All right, cool.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys.
He is gonna.
My bad. I didn't mean to click that already. I'll see you guys Thursday, man. Go Colts.
See you Thursday. Go Colts.
Peace.
He is going to drop the throw. Fires deep along the right sideline for Alec Pierce. He's got it. Touchdown! Touchdown! Alec Pierce spikes it into the end zone. Touchdown! INDY. A 32-yard grab over the shoulder snag.